Fresh snow is glistening, winter winds whistling down the lanes of Madison, Wisconsin. And the big bulky belligerent Badgers love it. Anything to help cool the incendiary defense of the undefeated Michigan Wolverines.
I'm really impressed with the speed and quickness of their defense. We're going to have to keep them off balance, but there's no question about it. This is going to be a physical football game, and probably the most physical team will win.
Well, physical has been Wisconsin's way since Barry Alvarez came over here 8 seasons ago. When you come to Camp Randall Stadium to play a game, you better double clutch your chin strap because you're going to be in a smash mouth game. Michigan coach Lloyd Carr has been warning his people about it all week, and Lloyd certainly knows the treachery of traveling across the Big Ten country on a cold, snowy day. Now some time with our folks in New York.
All right, we'll take you out to your game in just a moment, but first let's update some scores. Florida State, while they're wrapping up the ACC, they knock off Wake Forest 58-7. Nebraska, are they trying to impress the pollsters? 70-7 over Iowa State. They got 73 last time they played there in Lincoln. Ohio State knocks off Illinois, so they could beat Michigan next week and be headed to the Rose Bowl. And Penn State bouncing back from their loss to Michigan, 42-17. They are blowing out Purdue. All right, we'll see you at halftime, and we'll take you out to your game after this.
At dawn's early light today, this was the activity at Camp Randall Stadium. They were shoveling the snow off the field. About 3 to 4 inches fell in the city last night, but it has warmed up some. You see it's 30 degrees now, a blissful 12-degree wind chill, so it's fairly balmy. And here's a fellow who probably will have to wipe his brow because he came for real cold weather, Bob Greasy.
Yeah.
Bob, is there a hangover, you think, for Michigan after that big win at Penn State?
Well, the best game of the year for Michigan. They were clicking on both sides of the ball. They beat Penn State last week. Next week it's Ohio State, another big game. This is a game they got to avoid a big letdown. Secondly, this is a snake pit, Keith. It's the loudest, the most boisterous in the Big Ten. They need to come out and get business, take care of business. And the third thing for Michigan is they were named #1 in one of the polls this week. If the players pay too much attention to their clippings and not enough to the field thing, they're going to get knocked off today.
Now, I know all of you are curious about the status of Ron Dane, the big Wisconsin running back. Here is Lynn Swan, who just a few minutes ago talked to Coach Barry Alvarez.
Thank you very much, Keith. Ron Dane is the offense for this Wisconsin team, and last week in the first series he sprained his right ankle against Iowa. Before they took the field, the trainer said he was 90% healed. Said they worked him out in the water tank all during the week. so he could cut on that ankle. His coach, Barry Alvarez, said he had every intent of playing him, but not starting him. He wanted to watch him during pregame warm-up. As they walked off the field, Barry Alvarez told me that Dane will not play one play this afternoon. The ankle tightened up on him when he came out here for the pregame warm-up. Everybody watched him as he warmed up. The Michigan coaches were watching him. Other players were watching him. His own team, everyone wanting to know whether or not he would be able to play. And the answer, Keith, he will not play this afternoon, according to Barry Alvarez.
All right, Swanee, and I guess every bit of news has some good and bad tones to it. For Lloyd Carr, certainly that has to be considered good news because it takes an enormous burden, you would think, off of his defense. But Ed Faulkner, the freshman, stepped in there last week, a true freshman in relief, and ran for 119 yards against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Wisconsin will do what Wisconsin does, no matter who's in the backfield, because this man believes in the old fundamentals that Nebraska practiced when he was there under Bob Devaney. Run the ball, stop the run.
It's not pretty. It may be boring. It's ugly, but it's his way. It's what he told us yesterday. He says, it's what I am. It's the way we play around here, and that's what we do best.
And they're 8-2 in a season that nobody expected them to be. 8-2. All right, Wisconsin deferred to the second half, having won the toss. That sends the freshman Anthony Thomas of Michigan, back as the deep man to accept the kickoff. And young Anthony must remember the most important thing on a cold, snowy day like this: catch the ball. So we're ready to go with Davenport set to pocket. Pazetsky kicked it off, I guess it was, and it'll go beyond the field of play as Thomas looked at it and let it go, and a good thing he did. The Chili starting lineup for the Michigan offense, the front. This is the group that broke Penn State last week and could hold the key in this one. If they can run it, they can win it. The receivers have not been productive this season. The backs, for example, have 20 more catches than do the wideouts. In the backfield, Chris Howard had a great game last week, and if his offensive line gives him that kind of room today, he might have a lot of fun, both he and Chris Floyd and Anthony Thomas. But it's Chris Howard, number 8, the deep man in the backfield, and he has the first carry. Over the right side, breaks it across the 25 and out close to the 28-yard line. The Wisconsin defensive front, they have 2 freshmen in the front 4, Galoggi and Favre. Tom Burke has 13 tackles for loss. The linebackers, Thompson and Lysick, lead the team in tackles. Adamoff is 5th. They pursue very well. In the secondary, cornerback Jason Suttle is still out with injury. True freshman Dante King gets his 3rd start at cornerback. It is 2nd down and 3 for Michigan. It's Howard again. Howard across the 30 and pounds his way to the 35-yard line. So they're finding some room as 76 Hutchinson opened the door for him. So the Michigan offensive front played so very, very well last week over at Happy Valley against Penn State, and they opened impressively here.
And these are the 3 of the guys that played very well, Keith. Brian Greasy, the quarterback. Howard had 120 yards, and Tooman 4 catches and a touchdown. 9-man front for Wisconsin, trying to stop this running game.
First pass of the day from Greasy. Gets it away. Got a man wide open. Ty Streets. And Streets will take the ball to the Wisconsin side of the field for a first down for Michigan at the Badgers' 46.
And that's a big catch for Ty Streets, because last week he dropped a couple of balls. He's had a couple of dislocated fingers, one on each hand, and Streets makes the first reception here today for the Wolverines.
Anthony Thomas comes into the backfield now. Thomas is the bigger back at 229 pounds, the freshman out of Louisiana. Street steps up along the line, and Jeremy Tooman, the tight end, goes in motion. Give it to Thomas. Thomas over the right side, and some room.
How's everything going,
Picks up about 3 on the carry.
Wrapped up by David Lysick.
What Michigan is trying to do, Keith, is establish that inside running game. Wisconsin on the first 2 plays of the game had 9 men up around in the box and man-to-man on the wide receivers. They're going to just give the passing game to the wide receivers and try and stop the run game for the Wolverines.
Chris Howard is back. Clarence Williams now, number 33, is not here, the running back. here goes Greasy deep. They're after him now, and they're going to sack him. Back at midfield, it was David Lysek, 57, a linebacker, and Tom Burke, 74, the defensive end. So that's Burke getting a piece of his 14th tackle for a loss this season.
It was Lysek, the linebacker, that puts pressure on Bryan. He would have had time to throw it if the Lysek wouldn't have been in his face because he had single coverage on the outside.
Well, they had the right play called under the right circumstance, except for the fine defensive play by Wisconsin. It's Chris Floyd in the backfield now, the big blocking back. Reese's pass is away, and it is caught. It is completed downfield, a second in a row to Ty Streets, who caught it down on his knees, and you move the chains. That'll be another Michigan first down.
Greasy and Michigan have been outstanding, Keith, on third down situations this year. They're second in the Big Ten in converting third downs into first downs, and this is just a well-thrown ball, and it's a good start for Ty Streets.
There are his season numbers. 63%, pretty good. First down, ball just inside the 35-yard line. It's Chris Howard looking inside traffic and doesn't get anything out of the play. They get him just about the line of scrimmage, and again, it's 57 Lysek on the play. David is a 247-pounder, a senior out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Fifth-year senior. He's a captain of this team, Keith, and he's second on the team in tackles. He's a very good linebacker.
Just getting underway, and I'm sure if you followed these two teams, you followed all of the scenarios having to do with postseason play, and you can do it until you become drunk with it. So we're just going to leave it alone for a while and play some football. Second down and 9. Greasy's pass thrown to the outside to Chris Howard, the running back. Makes the first man miss. Second man got him just across the 30. Donnell Thompson, number 44, gets the call on the tackle.
Thompson had a big game last week against Iowa. Take a look at the pass protection. It's an option. He can throw the ball downfield. Good protection. Looks downfield and then dumps it off.
Charles Woodson comes into the ball game. He's in there as a wideout. That will get Wisconsin's attention. Nobody behind Greasy now. You got three of them over here together. They set up the screen. Woodson with the ball, throws it back across to Greasy. Greasy's got a convoy down the sidelines. One man to beat. Goes just short of the goal line. They finally knock him out of bounds. Bobby Myers knocked him out of bounds. So Michigan shows you a little razzle-dazzle stuff.
More things that Charles Woodson can do. Pulling the trick. They ran this play last year at the end of the season against Alabama, and Bryan, just as he was catching it, dropped it. From the end zone behind us, and the backward pass. Woodson, everybody knew he was in the ball game. They just get back. There's a convoy down the sideline.
That thump you just heard, that was Bo Schembechler fainting. Bo wouldn't leave that play. First down and goal from the 1. Give it to Chris Howard. He goes over the top, and they don't give him the touchdown. Badgers are belligerent, as I said. They don't give you anything. They will fight you. But I'm not surprised. You know, Lloyd Carr's a lot like Tom Osborne, in that he's a quiet man, goes about his business, doesn't make a lot of noise. But there are days when he brings a lot of funny stuff to the ballpark.
I think he said something about sneaking in here. Look for the quarterback sneak.
Second effort, didn't get there. That first hit was Lysek. Lysek hit him right at the very top, knocked him off the stack, and then the second effort, he got backup help, and he did not get in. And so it is third down and goal from the 1.
I think here, Keith, you just commit to going it on fourth down. I don't like quarterback sneaks, just because of that reason right there. You need to give it to a back with a guy in front of him.
Yep. Well, this time they got Chris Floyd in there and Chris Howard. Give it, no, Greasy on a bootleg. Running for the corner. He didn't get there. Bobby Myers knocked him out. So Wisconsin putting up a spirited goal line stand from the 1. The ball is no more than 6 inches from the goal line. They stopped Iowa last week, just a week ago, 3 times.
He had a receiver down in the end zone that was Shea, number 36, but Bryant tried to run it in.
They will go for it, knowing if they don't make it, they leave Wisconsin very deep. Chris Howard, there's your touchdown.
A gutsy call by Lloyd Carr on the road, but it's a good one.
And we get a little sprinkling of snow now as Michigan gets the first score of the day, and it comes at 9:06 to play in the first quarter. Craig Baker will do the extra point try for Michigan. Greasy's the holder. And the kick is good. So Michigan uses 13 plays to go 80 yards and take the lead 7-0. Well, the offensive front for the Michigan Wolverines picking up right where they left off. They haven't missed a beat so far, though when they got down to that 1 yard line, Wisconsin Badgers stood them up pretty good a couple of times.
Kind of slowed them up a little, didn't they?
Sure did. All right, Jay Feely will kick it off. Dante King and Kevin Huntley were deep people, but this kick is almost, well, it was a squibber, and Cecil Martin, the up man, the blocking fullback, picks up the football, and Wisconsin's going to get their first possession up near midfield.
Go and kick it into the wind. Here's a look at the scoring drive. 13 plays, 80 yards. Take a look. Charles Woodson in here, and that's the key. He's going to throw the ball out to Charles Woodson. When Woodson comes in, all of Wisconsin knew he was in the game. Now, there he throws it out there. Now, if you'll stop it right here, look at all these Wisconsin guys. All the red shirts are coming this way. So when he throws it back, they were all trying to catch up with Woodson, and Brian had 3 blocking guys out there in front of him and still couldn't get in the end zone.
All right, Mike Samuel will bring Wisconsin out. This is their first offensive series of the ball game. Eddie Faulkner, who's starting at tailback in relief for Ron Dane, will pick up 1 yard, and here's John Saunders.
Keith, it's time for the Burger King update. Now, Washington, the only team in the Pac-10 controlling its own destiny, beat UCLA today. Washington State next week, they go to the Rose Bowl. Rashawn Sheehy not playing, so Maurice Shaw takes this one to the end zone for the touchdown, and Washington strikes first 7-0. And Miami, a winner over Rutgers, 51-23.
It is 2nd down and 8 from the 45-yard line for Wisconsin. That short kick picked up the field, and the Badgers are starting in good field position, but they lost a big chunk of it right there as Clint Copenhaver led the defensive surgeons and dropped Faulkner for a loss. The Wisconsin starting lineup now, the Chile starting lineup for the Badgers. 3 redshirt freshmen in the middle, center, both guards, all over 300 pounds. Left tackle is a sophomore at 319, and the right tackle, Aaron Gibson, weighed 373 earlier this week.
373.
The receivers, Wisconsin runs the football, but they do have 2 very good receivers in Hayes and Simmons. And, of course, Mike Samuel's going to have time to get the ball to them. And you well know by now that Ron Dane has a sore ankle, suffered in the Iowa game, first series last week, and may not play at all today. That is an incomplete forward pass, handled and off the hands of Donald Hayes. Hayes is 6'5" and about 212 pounds out of Dearborn, Michigan. He's a very, very good possession receiver, but couldn't reel that one in, and so the Badgers punt.
Both teams had good games last week, but Michigan has continued that momentum offensively and defensively.
Stemke had a super punting day last week as Charles Woodson goes back to receive the punt, and you can see the snow now, pronounced little flurry. And the left puts that thing out of there pretty well. It's out of bounds. They do not want Woodson to have the ball. They did not kick it to Tim White at all last week, and it worked. So they'll try it again today. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by CompUSA, the computer superstore. By Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. By the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The snowflakes are getting a little bit bigger now as we come back to the field of play. The ball is given to Chris Howard. Howard trying to come around the left side. Will pick up about 3 yards on the carry. That was very good pursuit. Ross Kaloji, number 78. He is a big redshirt freshman from Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
This Wisconsin team, Keith, has more freshman starters than they do seniors on both sides of the ball. They have 6 freshmen and 4 seniors. Obviously, a young team that Barry Alvarez has. Going to be good next year and the year after.
Well, 61 of his 85 scholarships belong to freshmen and sophomores. Greasy back, passes away. His man's on his knees, and the pass is completed to Shaw. You can't do that on Saturday now. If you're going to catch it on your knees, you stay there at the 35-yard line. Next Saturday, live at noon Eastern, America's biggest road show rolls to Ann Arbor. The Rose Bowl picture still a little fuzzy, but coming on. The Buckeyes of Ohio State will be in town against Michigan. So lock all the china and cushion it, because everything will be rattling. Wisconsin, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Baylor. Maryland, Georgia Tech, Utah, BYU, and a Pac-10 game will be included in next week's college football action. That'll be Chris Howard carrying for another first down for the Wolverines. The big senior from River Ridge, Louisiana, is having a heck of a second half of the season. He's been tearing them up for the last half dozen games. Time remaining, first quarter, 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Howard has carried 7 times, 31 yards and a touchdown so far today. 7-0, Michigan leading Wisconsin in the first quarter. The ball is at the 46-yard line. Ball is handed to Chris Floyd. He's loose. He's a big, tough guy. He's inside the 25-yard line. So Chris Floyd, who's been dinged up, feeling well again, and the 230-pound senior out of Detroit had a big ramble down the field for another first down.
Take a look at the pit, the right guard. That's Brant's in there now. 67 is going to pull. Both guards have been pulling on these plays down the field. Floyd doesn't get an opportunity to carry much. He is a tremendous blocker, and Brian calls him the MVP on offense.
He put that straight arm on that freshman pretty good, didn't he? Dante King out of Los Angeles. Third start as a true freshman. Hand the ball back inside to Anthony Thomas, who has come in. And Anthony doesn't get much out of that. In fact, he'd be lucky if he got it past the marker. Second down and 9, call it.
We have one on the play, second and 9. The 21-yard line.
Shuffle those running backs in, Keith. They've got 2 or 3 of them. Clarence Williams not here due to injury.
He's trying to get over a hamstring pull. On a cold day like this, hamstring would be a little tender. Ball is just short of the 21-yard line. Howard is the single back. And you got Shaw going in motion. Greasy throws back this side. Ball goes to Aaron Shea, a tight end, and Shea is cut down on a driving tackle by Roger Knight, number 19.
It's a tight end screen, Keith, and it was just completed too deep in the backfield, and the Wisconsin defensive guys smelled that one out.
So Michigan is now looking at third down 11 as the ball is spotted near the 24. You get down around the 20-yard line, these Badgers get pretty hard-headed about it. They don't want you on their real estate. Greasy gets pressure, passes away, pass is incomplete. Pass intended for Ty Streets. He hit him with the ball right in the numbers, but Leonard Taylor was right there as well. And Taylor, who had a big game against Iowa last week, comes up with a good play.
It's good read by Brian. Watch, the corner on this side is going to blitz, but the receiver, when he sees it, is going to run a little bit of a slant route. Quarterback recognizes it, it's picked up, and just good coverage. So good all the way around. Good by the quarterback, the defensive back, good read.
Craig Baker is in for the field goal try. They're going to put the ball down at the 31-yard line. They're going to kick it what appears to be into the wind. He hooked it, and he missed it. So the wind was in his face. 41-yard try goes away, and Wisconsin wins that skirmish.
Wisconsin, the Badgers are #1 in third down conversion in the Big Ten. They're running at about 47% completion rate. And part of the reason why they're so successful on third down is their success on first down. All the coaches from Michigan were worried about that success. But in their first possession, on first down, they only picked up 2 yards. And on third down, they did not get the pass completed. They had to punt 3 downs and out, Keith.
Here they come for the second time around now. They start back at the 24-yard line. Mike Samuel, the quarterback. And he stands up and throws quickly. The pass to Donald Hayes. And there's a gain up to about the 33-yard line. The Michigan defense, Josh Williams is not out there today. He's dinged up and is not playing. Joaquin Pizzell is playing in his place across the Michigan defensive front. But Steele, Rennis, and Williams, and also Pizzell last week had the big sack against Penn State. Linebackers, if that front three penetrate and disrupt, these guys will have you looking for a phone and dialing 911. Second down and 6. Ball is handed to Faulkner, and Faulkner will go down at the 30-yard line. Sam Sword and Deanna Jones were the linebackers who stepped in and filled the gap. And when they fill the gap, they do it with authority.
Little hesitation there by the redshirt freshman Faulkner. He didn't start last week, but he came in for the injured Ron Dane and gained over 100 yards. Of course, if you're a tailback in this offense, your chances of gaining 100 yards and going over 1,000 for the year are pretty doggone good. They've had 4 straight 1,000-yard rushes, and they've been 4 different guys.
Third down and 4. Samuel rolls out and throws incomplete off the hands of the tight end, Eric Graham. Graham's is open, but he threw the ball behind him a little bit.
Well, this is not their cup of tea, throwing the football. They want to run the football, and their two drives now have been 3 plays and out.
But their special teams can do things too. Russell Shaw will go deep for Kevin Stemke's punt now. Stemke's first kick today, left footer, had a 40-yarder and out of bounds, no return.
Their special teams last week against Iowa, Keith, were outstanding.
That's another good kick. Oh, I'll tell you. Of course, that's with the wind. Shaw back there, and he's taken down, and they're going to throw flags on it because the Wisconsin man violated the 2-yard zone. Lamar Campbell, who is a senior defensive back, and I guess you didn't see the fair catch call, and took him down.
They're calling this in college football more this year than I've ever seen it.
Yep.
You have to give the receiver 2 yards or 6 feet and an opportunity to catch the football.
Jack Teets, the referee. It's a hold, and it's against Michigan, and the interference violation of the 2-yard zone. And I will say this for Campbell, that the fair catch call was almost tentative.
Well, I never saw a fair catch call. I don't think there ever was a fair catch.
Let's see here now. No, there wasn't. I thought he started to put his hand up at one time, then took it back down. So it's not a violation. Campbell is perfectly within his rights to do what he did, but you had a holding call against Michigan and apparently an illegal use of hands or push in the back by Wisconsin. Those were the 2 signals that Jack Teets gave us. Barry getting sort of a kick out of it.
Holding on to the receiving team. Interference, 5-yard violation.
Well, see, he did call fair catch interference.
Free kick.
I didn't see a fair catch signal. I thought I saw one.
It was not a fair catch signal, but he was within the 2-yard or the 6-foot limit that you have to catch a football. This is a big break for Michigan, and a great kick by Wisconsin, and Stemke goes down the drain, have to do it all over again.
Charles Woodson is on the field now, so Charles will go back and handle this kick. Now the question is whether or not Stemke will kick it to him.
And Campbell, the guy on the outside, if he's caught his breath, you have to go down and cover another punt.
That's right. It's a low kick. It will give Woodson time, except he had no chance to get to it. The ball trickles out of bounds at the 26-yard line, and there Michigan will have it. But it's a 44-yard punt, ugly as it might have been with no return. That's pretty good stuff.
It's about a 10-yard. Here's what they did last week. The special teams forced a fumble on a kickoff, which led to their only touchdown. They blocked the field goal attempt. They had 2 field goals of their own. The punt average was 46 yards. 3 of them were inside the 10-yard line, and Iowa has one of the best punt returners in the nation. They slowed him up.
Chris Howard is the beat man now as Michigan comes back to the attack. Reese back to throw the ball. Gets it away, and it's caught on the ricochet by Ty Streets. The up man, Lysick, the linebacker, tipped it, but it went right to Ty Streets for a completion.
Yes, it did. It was just over Lysick. What Michigan, from behind the offense, Mike DeBoard, the offensive coordinator, says we got single coverage on the outside. If they're leaving our wide receivers, that ball was almost intercepted by Lysick, 57, or at least he should have knocked it down.
He got his hand on it, not enough of it. Just outside the 40 for the first down, and this is big old Chris Floyd. And the big fullback will go to midfield and stop there. That's close to a first down, but I think they'll mark him just about a yard short.
Well, this is fortunate here, Keith.
9 on the play.
Floyd here is going to get the ball. Now watch this, Howard on the other side. He's also going to get in there. He thought it was for him. Both of them go in there, and they almost run into each other. It was for Floyd on the right side, and number 8 on the left side thought it was his play. You should see that when guards pull. When the guards pull across the center and they run into each other. That's a real circus.
I don't think he made a first down here. While they ponder it, tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central and Pacific, the U.S. national soccer team hosts El Salvador. The U.S. clinched a spot in next summer's World Cup with their win over Canada. El Salvador is still one of those fighting for one of the 32 spots in the World Cup field. It is 3rd and short. Won't get it. Penalty flag thrown by the referee, and that will almost always get you a holding call. Adamoff makes the tackle for Wisconsin, and it's against Michigan, and the Wolverines are going to have to punt the ball away.
Good perimeter defense by Wisconsin, and Adamoff was up there.
If they refuse it, it'll be 4th down. If they take it, they'll get another 3rd down play.
Right side of the trying to run around outside. Lurtzema got some penetration into the backfield, and that was just good defense by the Badgers.
So Michigan will go ahead and punt now as Wisconsin declines a penalty. That's Rob Lurtzema, son of Bob Lurtzema.
I played against his father about 25 years ago. Does that bring back some memories?
They leave any knobs on you?
Oh, yes. Now he's chasing around my son. His son's chasing my son.
Benson's kick is away. High hanger. Wynn grabs it. And coming up on a fair catch call is Ahmad Merritt. And Wisconsin will get it at the 24. Smith Barney remembers the 1981 season opener between these two teams. Michigan came into Camp Randall #1 of the nation, but their hopes for a national championship season knocked right off the tracks before it started rolling. An aggressive Badger defense and this 71-yard screen pass from Jesco to John Williams raised the crowd to an unprecedented level, and Wisconsin prevailed 21-14. One thing about the crowds here at Camp Randall Stadium, they are almost always at an unprecedented level. And last week, in particular, the coaches and players praised the crowd for their help against Iowa. Carl McCulloch is in the backfield now for the Badgers as Samuel rolls out, gets pressure, throws the ball away. He threw that one in the cheap seats because big old Glenn Steele was hounding after him.
Well, Glenn Steele has just been outstanding all year long, Keith, and he put the pressure on the quarterback and forced him to throw. Brad Childers, the offensive coordinator, throwing on 1st down. Now he's tried to run. That hasn't worked. Wisconsin wants to run on 1st down, but there's Steele putting pressure.
Josh Williams, we told you, probably won't play tonight.
Josh had an ankle problem, Keith. Hurt it last week's ball game, and probably could play today if he needed it.
McCulloch, the deep back. He's got the ball. And he just kept on sliding through the traffic. First two men didn't take him down. Tommy Hendricks finally got him down.
Number 81, Steele on the stop.
That inside three in that offensive line are all true freshmen. I mean, redshirt freshmen, all three of them. Ferrario and Rawbach and
8 yards
Costa.
on the carry from McCullough.
McCullough's an interesting story, Keith. He's a fifth-year senior. 2 years ago, before the arrival of Ron Dane, he ran for 1,000 yards. In the last couple of years, he hasn't done a lot, but he's a fifth-year captain of this ball club and doesn't play a whole lot.
First quarter's history.
This is college football on ABC Sports.
As we start the second quarter of play at Camp Randall Stadium, University of Wisconsin, Michigan leading 7-0. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Wisconsin Badgers. The ball is on their own 32-yard line. I might tell you that Michigan's held their opponents 0 for 21 on 3rd down conversion drives over the last 7 quarters, and now that's close. I think they may have just popped it, broken that string, because it looks like that mark is beyond the first down marker. And it is. So the Badgers get a first down. This is a very young Wisconsin football team. There are 7 freshmen of the 27 players on the offensive side of the ball, 7 freshmen of the 24 players on the defensive side of the ball. And I'll tell you after this play what the coach has to say about that. 1st and 10 for the Badgers at the 34. Samuel hands the ball off. This is McCulloch. McCulloch spins away from 2 tacklers and will pick up 1 yard on the play. But Barry Alvarez said yesterday, yes, indeed, we are young, and this is what I have to do to keep them on the right path.
I have to explain that funny helmet that Michigan's wearing. I have to, you talk about the different stadiums, what to expect, how to deal with everything. Many of these guys haven't gone through this before. This is the first time down the road, so to speak, and so it's just not going to. We're just not going to show up and play well. I mean, we have to and take them through every step and not take one thing for granted.
Done pretty well with it, too.
He's done very well with it.
Second down and 9. Pass is thrown incomplete, out of bounds. Very good coverage on that play, as McCulloch was the man closest to the pass as it was thrown away. Might also say, too, Bob, that none of the Michigan players have ever played here at Camp Randall. Some of them, including your son, have been here, but never played. That looks more like sleet than snow now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Good work. Samuel is 1 of 5 for 4 yards, and the thing about it is they haven't got the running game going. The Badgers normally come out and just run the football. They're trying to open it up by throwing, and neither at this point are working, the run game or the pass game.
Third down and 9 now for Wisconsin, and that's Donald Hayes in motion. Samuel back, steps away from the pressure, and now there's a penalty flag, and the quarterback is dropped. Back around, he will get a yard or so on that carry, but the penalty flag is what may be the most interesting. It's going to be against Wisconsin. It'll be holding, and so Michigan now has a choice. They can make it third and very long if they want.
Take a look from behind. The Michigan defensive line is just creates all kinds of havoc. Steele gets in number 81.
Michigan decides, nope, we'll decline it, we'll take the punt. So here is Kevin Stemke in the kick, and it's Russell Shaw back this time. Stemke will be punting into a wrist freeze. Sort of an angle on it, not dead in the face. It's tough to knock it down, but this fellow's got a pretty good leg. Shaw circles and catches, and is on the sidelines and finally taken down at about the 22-yard line. Lamar Campbell was the cover man down for Wisconsin. 13:24 to go in the half.
Drawn down by Lamar Campbell.
Coming to Michigan's first possession of the second quarter, they lead 7-0. The ball is resting at the 22-yard line with 13:24 to play in the half.
This is what they talk about when they say playing Big Ten football in November, isn't it?
Yep, I think so.
Cold and windy.
Tough conditions. Woodson's in the game. He has the ball. Quick pass to the sideline. Charles Woodson knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Lamar Campbell. They knew he was there. They had a man on him, a man to back him up, and he still made something out of the play.
Here's the numbers for the first quarter. Michigan really came out rolling. Look at Wisconsin. No first downs. Only 8 plays to 24, and the bottom is probably the most telling. Wisconsin normally, time of possession, they lead the conference in time of possession. Michigan is second. Michigan with big time of possession there in the first quarter.
Woodson leaves the lineup. Greasy turns, hands the ball to Anthony Thomas. And Anthony Thomas fights in there for 8-9 yards before he's finally dragged down. At number 78, you see, constantly in the defensive picture for Wisconsin is Ross Kalaji, big freshman from Stevens Point.
He can run too, Keith. I was impressed with him looking at some of the game tape. Got a good young defensive line, the Badgers.
Second down, long one for the Wolverines. They lead 7-0. Ball given to Thomas. Thomas picks his hold, gets his first down, breaks it out, and runs on down to about the 38-yard line on the Wisconsin side of the field before Dante King can bring him down. Chris Floyd, big old blocking fullback.
Yeah, watch the block for Floyd right there. Number 7 just knocks Lysick down. Lysick is responsible for that hole. The linebacker is supposed to be in that hole, and Campbell just took him out. And then Thomas made one of the defensive backs miss.
Chris Floyd makes a difference. He's
no
healthy.
question.
From the 39. Greasy still got it. Lets it go deep. High Streets is there. Touchdown, Michigan.
This is a play-action pass, Keith, off of one of their favorite plays. Streets is having a big day after some frustrating games leading up to this, where he had some problems with his fingers. We said he had a couple of fingers dislocated in some of the games early on.
He's caught 4 passes for 86 yards and a touchdown today. I'll say that's been a hook up to this point this year. Missed that point. Baker missed the point. Little things like that can make up the difference down the highway. 13-0 Michigan. Michigan to a 13-0 lead, but Craig Baker's first miss of the year. Those things sometimes come back to haunt you in the fourth quarter. Long kick with the wind back to the 1-yard line for Kevin Huntley. And Huntley's also a wide receiver, gets it out to the 23.
Michigan has a favorite play. It's a tailback coming off this side. The next option is the tight end coming across with the quarterback rolling out. He's going to fake this play. What makes this so good play action wise is the running play is so good. You see the tight end dragging across. The third option, stop it right here. Right here is the deep man coming across. That's the wide receiver coming from the back side. What you do as a quarterback, when you come out of that fake, you look deep. If the deep man has a shot at it, you go ahead and let him have it. What Wisconsin is doing, they've got 8 and 9 guys up, stopping the run. That's why Street has been so successful out on the wide receiver spot.
It's Carl McCullough in there at the running back position now. Marcus Ray comes up and makes the tackle on him for Michigan. So McCullough climbs up pretty well for about 7 yards as he gets it up across the 25 to the 27. Now make it 5 yards. 2nd down and 5. Greasy now for Michigan. 8 out of 9 for 112 yards and a touchdown. Plus a reception, 28 yards himself.
Yeah.
Catch and a run.
McCullough, Keith, the running back, hasn't played in 5 or 6 ball games.
Looks pretty good.
Yes, he does. He's a veteran. He's a 5th-year senior. He's been around. This is a big ball game. And I think it's smart for Barry Alvarez to get him in the ball game. Faulkner wasn't doing well. Let him sit on the sideline, relax a little bit, and then get your veteran in there.
That's very close to a 1st down. A 2nd effort by Carl McCullough. He has not played, I don't think, in 5 games. He was having some fumble troubles early in the season. And you're not going to play a lot for Barry Alvarez if you fumble the football.
For sure.
I ain't got his first down inside. Martin was all the way across, though, and they wanted to make sure. .11:15 to go in the 1st half. A 13-0 lead for the Michigan Wolverines, ranked 2nd in the USA Today ESPN coaches poll. The Associated Press has Michigan number 1. That's the writers and the broadcasters. 1st and 10. Michigan ball there, got it for the neutrals on. They threw a flag on him. McCullough picks up a couple of yards on the play, trying to go over the right side. Glenn Steele on the tackle for Michigan.
Good cadence by Mike Samuel, the quarterback. And usually it's the defensive players that are the closest that you get to jump offside.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Tennessee, Arkansas on ESPN2. The Deuce. They're out in Fayetteville playing. Tennessee trying to keep their bid alive for an SEC title, led by obviously Peyton Manning. Freshman running back Jamal Lewis. Arkansas has been a down year, but Fayetteville, it's hard to win many times. Fayetteville, Arkansas is in sight. Tennessee and the Hogs going at it tonight. And that's McCullough with another outstanding run, getting pretty good blocking help on that big sophomore left tackle, Chris McIntosh, a 319-pounder.
Good blocking up front there. You're exactly right, Keith. McIntosh is 75. McCullough's been out to pasture the last 5 weeks, and he says, hey, I'm ready and anxious and looking forward to playing some.
Hungry. 46-yard line. 1st down for the Badgers. Again, it's McIntosh who opened that door for him. And Michigan's got a man shaken up. It's Tommy Hendricks, one of the safeties, getting up very tenderly, and now he goes back down on the ground, and they're going to have to take time for him. He's hurt a leg.
8 and 5 on the play. 2nd and 5.
So all of a sudden, the Wisconsin offensive line rears up and starts to open some room for McCullough. 79. Take a look at 79, folks. That's Aaron Gibson from Indianapolis, Indiana. 6'7", and I think on Tuesday it was, he weighed 373 pounds.
Yeah, he is the biggest football player in playing football in Division I.
Swanee, didn't you say that he was in the lifting room yesterday trying to show off his abs?
Well, that's right. I was down there in the locker room. I was working out. I came upon him, and And I looked at him and I said, "You're a lot thinner than the last time we saw you." And he was bragging about the weight he dropped and said, "Hey, look, I even have some abdominal muscles." But he told me I had to stand back so he could show him to him he had to be under a certain kind of light and at the right angle. But he did have a little ripple in his stomach, Keith. I saw it. I'm a witness.
Hendricks is walking off now.
Hendricks is the free safety, and that's the second free safety in the last 2 games that Michigan has lost. If, in fact, he's lost Adrian Taylor last week with a crushing tackle.
Well, Dwayne Patton broke a leg, and Brent Washington is now the man in there, and Eric Mays is one of the team captains, inside linebacker, who was hurt some time ago.
It was Eric on the sideline.
Yeah. Normally injured people don't travel, but he's a captain. 2nd down and 5 for Wisconsin. The ball is just over on the Michigan side, and if there was contact, and it looks like there might have been by Steele on the shoulder pad of one of the Badger linemen, and now Wisconsin's building up some momentum.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And this is a smart play by Samuel, the quarterback, Keith. When you're struggling to get something going, we showed you the first quarter graphic. They had no first downs in the first quarter. They hardly got anything going. So you've got some cadence going for you. It's a non-rhythmic cadence. If you can get some easy 5-yard penalties, take it. Just get your offense going any way you can. Get it started.
2nd down and 1 might be a chance to go for a big one. Faulkner is back into the ball game, and they go instead the sure route. They go up the middle for the 1st down. So you can move the chains, I'm pretty sure, on that one, and put it down at the Michigan 43-yard line.
Michigan has just about taken this crowd, Keith, out of the ball game with their 2 early scores. Similar to what they did last week on the road at Penn State, that crowd was out of it. If the Badgers can score here, the crowd will get right back in it.
McCullough is the deep back, gets the ball up the middle. Boy, he's knocking off 5-6 yards on 1st down and really moving it. Copenhaver was the man that brought him down. But that's going to put the ball down near the 37-yard line, inside the 38.
75 is McIntosh, 60 is Ferrario. It's a nice hole there. What McCullough is doing, Keith, is he's not rushing it. He's not getting there too quickly. He's keeping the weight over the balls of his feet, and he's just adjusting to what's there.
Well, again, and stepping up for this tackle for Michigan, number 94. Eric Wilson. That's a new face, getting some playing time. This time of the year, a lot of people get dinged up. On a cold day, they need some help.
Look at the total yardage. Wisconsin's gotten most of that in the last 2 possessions.
It's 3rd and 2. It's Samuel rolling out, running for it. Got it. Got down to the 32-yard line. He took a pretty good lick from Andre Weathers, but Weathers trying to nail him just got the bottom half of him and didn't do much damage. So it's 1st down for Wisconsin.
75 is McIntosh, the left tackle. He's blocking on Frizzell. One of the strengths that Mike has is his ability to run. He's a tough kid. He sees it. He's going to run it. He's going to pick up that 1st down.
Michigan 32, 7:46 to play in the 1st half. 13-0 Michigan. This is McCullough looking for a daylight. Patience of a senior. and moves it down to the 26 before Sam Sword brings it down, and they're now running behind McIntosh.
Yes.
The big man over there, Gibson, no, they're going this way, and McIntosh is handling Frizzell and Steele.
McIntosh is the only returning starter on that offensive line, number 75. They lost 7 offensive linemen, fifth-year seniors, all weighing over 300 pounds, so they've had to rebuild that offensive line. They lost their starters and their backups.
Pretty good holding job there. He had a hold of Steele's shoulder pad, but that's in the trenches. That's where the big guys play. It's McCullough again. And this is Brent Washington on the tackle for Michigan. That's close to another first down. It is. So the Badgers pounding it down the field. And the crowd starting to come back to the game.
This is Badger football. This is what Barry Alvarez wants and likes to see. Long, drawn-out drives, running the football.
Josh Williams is in now for his first play. They need a little defensive help. That in position, and they put him in with a sore ankle. Number 91. McCullough stopped for a moment, but shook him off and went ahead and made something out of the play. Venus couldn't hold him.
Well, Keith, you know, we were wondering why Carl McCullough was in this ball game so much. I went to check to see if Eddie was injured or might just be having a bad day. But the only reason why Carl got in the ball game is because he's a senior, and this is his last home game. They introduced all the seniors, their parents are here. Coach moved in so he could play this ball game, and now he's doing a great job, Keith.
He certainly is. Second down and 5. Got it again. This time they get him behind the line of scrimmage. James Hall, who just missed on 3 different occasions in this first half, finally gets a man.
This is just a too slow developing play, Keith. Hall comes from the outside and just chases that play down.
He's been close 2 or 3 times, but finally got it. And the loss will move the ball back to outside the 19-yard line, where it will be 3rd down and 8. There have been 12 plays in this possession, all of them so far, all plays in this possession so far, running the ball. They've got McCullough now going in motion. Well, this will be your first pass. They swing it out there to Cecil Martin. And Martin is stopped at about the 16-yard line. Sam Sword, the principal stopper.
Sword leads the Wolverines in tackles, Keith. He's done that the last couple of years. Cecil Martin, who caught that ball, is kind of the Chris Floyd, the Badgers. He's a fullback, does all the blocking and the catching.
Matt Davenport is in for a field goal try now on 4th down and 5. They'll put the ball back at the 23. It'll be a 33-yard try. Tim Rosga is the holder, and it's a lot of leg, and it's good. So the Wisconsin Badgers get on the scoreboard in the second quarter of play with 4 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the half. Michigan 13, Wisconsin 3. chaps on Lake Mendota. Snow flurries at Camp Randall Stadium. A 13-3 ball game. The home team just scored, and they're kicking it off. Kozetsky knocks it down to the 10-yard line to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas, looking for some blocking help, gets it up to the 26. And here's John with an update.
The wild one out west. UCLA and Washington in the Rose Bowl, playing to get into the Rose Bowl. Cade McNown, 47 yards to Jim McElroy, and that ties it after the point after. They're all tied up at 14 apiece. Keith, back to you.
I'd be lying if I didn't say I wish I was there.
Well, you wouldn't have had to get on an airplane this weekend, that's why.
It's also probably about 70 degrees. To the 30-yard line, Chris Howard. And we'll pick up on the play, 4 yards, as we go inside 4 minutes. A ball game that offers tremendous consequence in the Big Ten. Michigan waiting next week at home for Ohio State. Wisconsin Badgers go on the road to Penn State.
Michigan controls their own destiny. If they win both games, they win the title and go to the Rose Bowl.
Charles Woodson is in the game, top of the picture. Reese throws, he throws to Shaw, and Shaw is just about the first down marker as Leonard Taylor comes in to make the tackle. So they sort of tried to use Woodson as a bit of a decoy and let Shaw do it.
I think that's a smart play. Every time that Woodson comes in, you can't be throwing him the ball or handing it to him. You got to use him as a decoy son.
Coming this way in the bottom part of your picture.
He's out here by himself, too.
Got man coverage. They come to help him, but he shakes off the first guy, gets away from the second, and the third one finally shoves him out of bounds. They marked him out back up at the 49-yard line.
He is exciting, Keith.
Well, he was a step from scoring.
As soon as the ball was snapped, Leonard Taylor, the strong safety, started running out there. And the corners, there's Taylor. He gets around Taylor. Now he beats the corner. That's Campbell. He almost outran the whole defense.
He did. Ball is on the 49-yard line, first down for Michigan. And this is Chris Howard. And Howard will have 9 yards on that carry. Bob Adamoff on the tackle. Wisconsin with a long drive downfield. Settle for the 3, and Michigan now trying to answer.
End of the play, 2nd and 1.
It's snow
43-yard line.
on the ground here, and so when guys try to make that move, if they don't have their body under control and balance, they're going to slip like Richard did when he's trying to make that great run.
Buddy, I can't hear you. 2nd down and 1. Reese fakes it, rolls it out. Nobody to throw to. Tiptoes trying to get past the marker, and does, to the 40-yard line. He'll have a first down on the play, and Wisconsin covered up all the people downfield, so he did what he needed to do, is pick up the first down.
Michigan gets more out of that play than I don't know of anybody. I mean, they run it all the time. It's a bootleg reverse pass.
Pass thrown to Shaw. He gets loose. He's gone. Down to the 2-yard line. Coming from well off the pace of the play was Leonard Taylor to make a saving tackle for Wisconsin down at the 2-yard line. Good play by Shaw to shake off the defender and take it that far.
Here's the defender up here. Watches the receiver's going to go here, and the wide receiver's going to go right in here, and the ball's going to be thrown to the top left of the screen. Top left. Shaw catches it. Really should have got in the end zone. Catches from the outside. Didn't see the guy coming.
It's first and goal for the Wolverines. Down at the Wisconsin 2-yard line, it's Chris Howard fighting his way to the 1, maybe a little closer, but he did not get in the end zone.
Well, last time Michigan was in this position, Keith, it took 4 plays to score from the 1-yard line.
Where's the big old Chris Floyd?
That's a good point.
Streets goes out. Probably get a double tight end alignment here with Campbell in, Shea in, Truman in, Floyd and Thomas in the backfield. Greasy steps out, looks, nobody there. Now he's got to take off, and they'll tackle him short of the goal line. So again, the Wisconsin secondary did a good job.
Yes, they did, Keith. It's going to be a play action, which is a good call on 2nd down and goal, but Wisconsin was ready for it, and Campbell was all over the guy. Only one receiver was out, and then Brian just tried to get as much as he can, get back close to the goal line.
And a timeout call by Michigan. 3rd down and 1 coming up, or 3rd down and goal with 44 seconds to go in the half. Michigan's having a meeting on the sidelines about what to do here on 3rd down and goal now, because Wisconsin gets stubborn as a stone fence down inside that 5-yard line.
I think it's a good timeout for Michigan, Keith. Call timeout, talk it over, gather your senses. You've tried 2 plays and neither one of them worked. Give us your best play, and then if you don't make it, I guess what they're going to do is kick the field goal, but Michigan wants to get it in here, and obviously the Badgers want some help from the crowd.
Well, they've taken out Chris Floyd, and they've taken out Campbell, the tight end. And Greasy turns and hands the ball, and it doesn't work. And there's nothing there for Anthony Thomas. He loses a yard on the play. That's kind of funny stuff.
See some red shirts down there signaling the other way as if there may have been a fumble.
Jerry McTuman was down underneath the stack. He got up very slowly.
Good play by Donnell Thompson. Thompson, number 44, is going to dodge.
He did fumble. He did fumble. Yeah.
He's trying to see the other tacklers.
I couldn't see it from this side because the ball is inside of him, and sure enough, Lysick hit him, and I can see why they were
Thomas
arguing
got
about
it back, huh?
Yeah. Valvoline halftime 97 coming up with John and Todd. We've got 18 seconds to play here in the first half. It is 4th down and goal for Michigan, and I'm pretty sure this is field goal time for them. Though Chris Howard's out there right now, and here comes Brian.
Looks like they're going to go for it, Keith.
I can't imagine that they wouldn't just go ahead and they haven't done much with Wisconsin.
Well, Baker's out there. He's going to kick it.
Yeah.
He missed the last extra point.
I didn't see it, but there he is. All right. It's Jay Feely, number 49, Jay Feely. And he knocks it through. So Baker missed the extra point. Jay Feely had not attempted a field goal since game 2 against Baylor. So he comes in and knocks it down the road, and Michigan is out to 16.
Wisconsin's got to be happy with that, Keith, because if you remember the completion to Shaw that got him down there, it looked like Shaw was going to score a touchdown. So the Badgers come away giving up only 3 instead of the 7.
Wisconsin is a big football team. You know they're willing, but ever since Barry came here and started recruiting, he's recruited big people. And he sells that idea. He said yesterday that his football camp, he probably has 700 or so youngsters come. And he said at least half of them weigh 250 pounds or more.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about 14, 15, 16-year-olds.
And from the state of Wisconsin.
And all from the state of Wisconsin.
I mean, he says we recruit Wisconsin, but we have to go outside a lot of the time to get our skill players. But we've got all kinds of linemen and defensive linemen, big people in the state of Wisconsin, and that's what we go for.
And they like to come here because they know they'll get to play.
And it's his brand of ball. He likes to play that, to smash them out, grind it out. He says that's my way. That's what I know.
Ball's on the 35 now for the kickoff. And it's going to be returned by Kevin Huntley. Look out! Feely, the kicker, finally knocks him out of bounds at the 42-yard line. So Kevin Huntley, who has great speed, almost got to the outside.
And he's turned around their kickoff return team, Keith. Coming into this week, they were 96th in the nation in kickoff returns. Huntley's done this just the last 2 weeks. So if he keeps doing this, their return averages are going to be much better than 96th in the country.
Well, just outside the Wisconsin 42-yard line. 7 seconds remaining, so we should have one play.
Huntley is a backup wide receiver. He started the last 2 years as a free safety, and now just getting a chance to run the ball.
Michigan dropping all kinds of folks deep. And they throw it underneath. It goes to McCullough. And McCullough goes out of bounds with 1 tick remaining on the clock at the 41-yard line, and now they're a little bit closer. Now they can really throw it to the end zone or get it pretty close maybe. But the Wolverines are remembering vividly one loss to Colorado because of this kind of stuff, and a near miss in both the second year.
You're talking about the Hail Mary.
Yes.
The alley-oop.
Whatever.
The teams work on this play, Keith. They just throw it down offensively and defensively. Work on it, work against it.
Well, Glenn Steele's not going to let him get too much time. He gets it off, though, and it'll be intercepted by Charles Woodson. So Woodson steps in front of it. That uses up the time in the first half. So we're halfway through this one. Michigan leads it 16-3.
That's the Big Ten story as far as the Rose Bowl is concerned. In the Pac-10, a wild one in Los Angeles. UCLA against Washington. Cade McNown rolls out to his left and throws it back to Skip Hicks, who takes off and covers 67 yards. A point after it had been missed earlier by Washington. So UCLA right now leading this one 21-20. We'll also have highlights of Nebraska and Florida State when we come back. Stick around. Halftime's coming up.
Valvoline Halftime 97, brought to you by Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. People who know use Valvoline. From our New York studios, John Saunders and Todd Blackledge.
This is Valvoline Halftime 97. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Now, Florida State is #1 in one of the polls today. They were playing to wrap up the ACC, the Alliance bid, and perhaps a shot at the national championship for Bobby Bowden. And his quarterback, Thad Busby, has been great this year.
Well, everybody talks about Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a quarterback playing any better this season than Thad Busby. Here he goes to his tight end, Melvin Purcell, for a 45-yard touchdown. And Busby's season, again, just continues to get better and better each week. He fought off the competition in preseason training camp. Look at his numbers today, 390 yards and 4 touchdowns, and this has been a great season. He continues to climb the charts in Florida State history, closing in on Peter Tom Willis's single-season record.
And against Florida, he'll have a chance to break that. Now, Iowa State and Nebraska. Nebraska must have learned something last week because they did not take anything for granted today. 63 points in the first half. Almond Green had a terrific day, 50 yards on the touchdown run. It was 21-0 at that point, and the Big 12 North goes to Nebraska.
Well, how bad was it for Iowa State today? Nebraska had more points than Iowa State had offensive plays. Again, the leader for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, Scott Frost, their quarterback. Amon Green, coming into the day, the #4 rusher in the country, helped himself with those numbers today.
Ohio State looking ahead to Michigan next week? I guess not. Stanley Jackson, 17 yards to David Boston for the touchdown. Ohio State had the lead. Pepe Pearson with another great day.
Pepe Pearson, 115 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Nobody is playing any better in college football right now than the Ohio State Buckeyes. In the Big Ten, everybody talks about Michigan's defense. Ohio State's defense, in the last 5 games, they've only allowed 2 touchdowns.
41-6, and they'll face Michigan next week. Penn State trying to bounce back from the loss to Michigan. Just give it to this guy, Curtis Enis. 30 yards, his 4th touchdown run of the day. Penn State had a 35-17 lead, and they win it 42-17.
This game was close going into the 4th quarter. 3 turnovers by Purdue in the 4th quarter got out of hand for him, but Curtis Enis was the workhorse today for Joe Paterno.
Iowa against Northwestern, and Iowa needs a win because they have a win over a 1AA team. They are not eligible for a bowl yet, and Brian Musso gets this one from Tim Hughes. And he takes it in, 2 touchdowns for Musso, and that's the way it ends up. 15-14, Iowa loses.
Iowa had won 21 straight in this series. Northwestern has won the last 3. Brian Musso with both touchdowns for Northwestern today.
Florida blows out South Carolina 48-21. They still have a chance at the SEC championship game. Fred Taylor with a great day.
Taylor's been one of the constants for Spurrier's offense today. 3 touchdowns, and the defense, 3 sacks today, a school record now, 47 quarterback sacks.
Alabama today trying to avoid being shut out at home for the first time in any season. James Johnson takes off 83 yards. Mississippi State with a 14-7 lead, and Alabama loses at home.
James Johnson, he had the big day for Mississippi State, 198 yards. Mississippi State controls their own destiny in the SEC West. Games left with Arkansas and Ole Miss.
4 losses in Tuscaloosa. That's unbelievable for Alabama to think of that. Syracuse now trying to play for the Big East Championship, facing Pitt today, and Pitt actually had a chance, and comes down to the last 30 seconds. Donovan McNabb, 24 yards to Quentin Spotwood, and Syracuse pulls this one up. McNabb with 2 touchdowns, so they're still alive for an alliance bid. Curtis Keaton, 20 rushes for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. West Virginia over Temple, and Rutgers gets blown out by Miami. Virginia, a loser at NC State. Jermaine Stevens, 111 yards, his 4th consecutive game with 100 yards. Don't forget, college football next week. It starts with the big one, Ohio State against Michigan. The winner of this one is going to the Rose Bowl most likely, especially if it is Michigan. They're a lock. Also at 3:30 Eastern Time. Check local listings for the games available in your area and on pay-per-view. Tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Time here on ABC, World Cup, the U.S. team will face El Salvador. For more on that, let's join Roger Twibel.
John, like the rest of New England, Foxborough's been hard hit by bad weather. They're expecting a couple of more inches of snow tonight, but that shouldn't put any damper on the red, white, and blue celebration that's expected. Over 50,000 tickets have been sold for the game between the United States and El Salvador. Of course, the U.S. has qualified for France '98 by virtue of their 3-0 victory over Canada last weekend in Vancouver. Now, there's still something on the line for El Salvador because a win against the United States, and they still have a chance of going to the World Cup. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern Time.
All right, Roger, thanks a lot. And ABC's college football continues after this. Welcome back. John Saunders and Todd Blackledge. Your second half is coming up, but right now let's go through the scores and highlights. You had to wonder about Michigan, whether or not they would have a letdown after the game against Penn State. They won that one so big, and today having to go up to Wisconsin, and nobody on the team had played there. A little trickery here. You love Charles Woodson.
Well, the guy does everything. You see the respect that he commands on the field. Everybody comes to him, throws it back to the quarterback, Greasy, to set up Michigan's first touchdown in the ball game.
Brian Greasy also having a good day. You see the catch there that almost wound up as a touchdown. Here he rolls out and hooks up with Ty Streets.
Brian Greasy is the epitome of what you know as a field general for the quarterback. He's having an outstanding season. He's having an outstanding game so far in the first half today for Michigan, the real leader on the field.
And Michigan trying to clinch a share of the Big Ten title, and if they win next week, they're going to the Rose Bowl. Colorado against Kansas State. K-State had not beaten Colorado since 1984. Right now, the big lead, 27-6. Michael Bishop with a touchdown pass. North Carolina and Clemson. North Carolina stumbled against Florida State last week. How would they fare in that one? And Nealon Green, the quarterback, takes this one in on a tough run.
Nealon Green playing without his best running back, Raymond Priester, still bothered by the ankle. He's trying to play, but hasn't been very effective. North Carolina's defense making some plays. They've got a block punt that led to a touchdown for North Carolina in this ballgame. Good one down in Death Valley.
Carolina with a field goal in the final minute to take the lead there. Washington and UCLA. Washington controlling their own destiny as far as the Rose Bowl is concerned. Maurice Shaw in for Rashawn Sheehy. 7-0. He puts them on top with a touchdown run here. But Cade McNown has shown everyone in the nation that he's one of the top quarterbacks.
They better make sure all the bulbs are working on the scoreboard in this one because they are going to score a lot of points. Cade McNown in the first half, 9 of 14, 188 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This one is going to be a shootout through the second half.
Cade McNown this time rolls out to the left, tosses it back to the right to Skip Hicks. Hicks with a great move right there, and he takes it for the touchdown. It's 21-0 because Washington had missed an extra point, and Cade McNown is not done as well. He drops back, scrambles out to his left, looks back to the right, and then says, I got to run this thing after the fake there. 11 yards, UCLA up 28-20.
Cade McNown, again, having a great season, running and throwing the football, playing with great confidence right now. Actually, right now, McNown, 202 yards passing in the first half of play.
Notre Dame against LSU. The Irish need the win to get to a bowl. 17-0. They have the score right now. Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Texas Tech, of course, has dropped out of bowl consideration, but they are up 13-0 here. Missouri, how would they bounce back after the loss to Nebraska in overtime? Very well. 42-17 the score there. Kansas against Texas. Zach Wagner with 2 touchdown passes. 45-24 is the score there. Of course, we have followed this all year long. Eddie Robinson, his final year as head coach at Grambling. He's been there 57 years, missed 2 years because of the war, and that's why this man has tears in his eyes, and so does the entire nation of college football. We're going to miss you, Eddie. As Frank Valley takes this one, returns it 63 yards for the touchdown. Grambling grabbed the lead at that point against North Carolina A&T, but I'll tell you what, they'd like to get the win for Eddie Robinson, but regardless of what happens this season, this has been an outstanding gentleman to be around, and we are going to miss him. 30-21 the score there. USC against Oregon State. John Fox with a touchdown pass. It's 10-0. Ohio U and Marshall, the winner of this game will face Toledo in the MAC championship.
And everybody talks about Randy Moss, but how about the guy throwing the football to him? Chad Pennington coming into today tied with Tim Couch of Kentucky for the most touchdown passes in the country.
All right, Joe Hamilton has 2 touchdown passes as Georgia Tech knocks it out over Duke 41-38. Kentucky and Vandy. Tim Couch with a touchdown pass. You would expect 21-10 there. Rice and Utah. Rice controlling their own destiny, needs to win the remaining games to clinch the WAC Mountain Division, and right now they are down to Utah elsewhere in the WAC. Wyoming and Air Force. Blaine Morgan with a touchdown run. SMU and Tulsa. Kelsey Adams has 3 touchdown runs. That one's tied up. Fresno State and San Diego State. Jonas Lewis with a touchdown run there. And Utah State against Nevada. Nevada, we're trying to clinch the Big West title, but they are down. Stick around. Back in a moment. Welcome back. The big news in college football this week, Nebraska #1. They win a game at Missouri, and they get jumped by 2 teams. First time that's happened since 1974.
Well, what's mind-boggling about it to me, John, is that Nebraska came in such a solid #1 last weekend. 50 first-place votes. They win their game on the road in overtime, and lo and behold, at the end of the day, they're ranked #3. It was so much emotion involved in the voting. I think it was just a real knee-jerk reaction, a crazy day in college football.
All right, you are a voter. Did it sway you at all?
No, I kept Nebraska #1 for the same reason that I kept Penn State #1 back in October after the close win over Minnesota. I don't think a team should lose their ranking after 1 week in a game that maybe they didn't win as impressively as everybody thought they should have.
So what's the solution then?
Well, this may sound crazy, but I'd prefer to see us vote on a monthly basis instead of a weekly basis. I think it would take some of the emotion out, allow for some more rational thinking. You take a look and say, hey, is that team lucky, or are they really starting to surge forward? Did that team just have a bad game, or is this really the beginning of a downward trend? I think it also allows you to take the strength of schedule factor into it a little bit more.
Of course, the poll doesn't mean as much if there is a playoff. Don't forget, ABC's College Football is online live with scores, stats, and highlights, all from today's games. And check out ABC's sideline reporter Jack Arut's column, all on America Online, keyword ABC Sports. ABC's sports presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
It's snow time in Madison, Wisconsin. The Michigan Wolverines leading 16-3. About 4 inches fell around the area last night. It's been a relatively mild day, all things considered, though he's getting a little blue. And some of the highlights out of the first half. Chris Howard gave Michigan the 7-0 lead, and then this little piece of
everybody
dazzling
knows
stuff.
When Charles Woodson's in the game, he's on the outside. They throw the ball out there to him. He looks downfield, then he throws it back. But look at all the red shirts that know that Woodson's in the game. They're all coming to get Charles Woodson. 3 blockers, offensive linemen up there. He throws the ball back for Brian, and he takes off down the sideline.
They wound up building it to a 13-0 lead.
So play action pass, Streets in the end zone, making a nice return from, really, he has not been in the offense the last 3 ball games.
So he's had the best half he's had in a long time here. He had 86 yards on 4 catches and a touchdown. So here we go with the second half of play now. Wisconsin will have the first possession. The ball carries 3 yards deep into the end zone, and oh boy, he almost came out, but Kevin Huntley stopped 3 inches from making a big mistake. Now the Dean Witter halftime stats.
Look at the total yardage for Michigan, 309 yards in 1/2, only 80 for Wisconsin. The 1 turnover late in the half didn't make any difference. Wisconsin did well in the second half, Keith. That 1 long drive, it was almost 7 to 8 minutes, really got him back in the time of possession back.
The man who has emerged as a star for the Wisconsin Badgers in this game is Carl McCullough, who hadn't played in 5 games. Senior, he was a force, and he's starting right out at the beginning of the second half with a big play, running it from the 20 out to the 22, and their penalty flags thrown for a late hit on the Michigan Wolverines. So that's a personal foul, and that's going to move the ball on over to the Michigan side of the field. Marcus Ray got there late.
And McCullough has been the life of this offense. He carried for 57 yards on 13 rushes in the first half. That'll put him up around 80 or 90 right there.
And puts the football at the Michigan 43-yard line, and all of a sudden the crowd back with a full tummy and feeling good about things.
I'm sure Barry Alvarez was telling me, hey, there's momentum changes in ball games. We have not been on the upside. Let's go out and create something. And this certainly, the big run and then the penalty tacked on top of it, gets him going here in the second half.
Samuel to throw. Big. Incomplete.
Do it again.
Going for Donald Hayes. Here's Lynn Swan.
Keith, I talked to Barry Alvarez as he went in at halftime, and he said that what he wanted to do coming out for the second half is be much more physical. He said a number of his players have made mistakes, they've made bad judgments, they've missed tackles. He wants them to correct those mistakes, but to be more physical. He says McCullough is the more physical of the 2 backs that he has available that he wants to play. He says he really wants McCullough to come in here and take it to him. And of course, he doesn't have Dane. He's out, sprained ankle, did not heal fast enough.
Graham's tight end goes in motion. That's a new formation for the Badgers, and Samuel runs away from the pressure and turns it upfield for close to 5 yards. Sam Sword on the tackle. There was penetration, but Glenn Steele couldn't get his hands on it.
Wisconsin didn't have a lot of offense in the first half, as we mentioned, Keith. Samuel was 3 of 9 for 18 yards, and an interception was really at the end of the half, didn't make any difference. McCullough was the most productive offensive player.
3rd down and 5. McCullough is the deep back. Tight end grab in motion. He looks at it. Now he runs away from the pressure, and he is caught and tackled by Sam Sword.
Big play by Sam Sword, because if Samuel gets away from him, he gets the first down.
Gain of 1 on the play.
It's going to be 4th and 4.
This may be an area where they go for it on 4th down, Keith. Mike just goes right back up the middle, which was good. Just couldn't get around Sword.
He got up gimpy, didn't he? Kind of limping a little bit right now.
They're going for it here. This is a good move, Keith, because even if you don't make it, you still turn the ball over on Michigan's own 35-yard line.
So Samuel looks like one of his ankles, the right ankle in particular, might be a little tender. Wisconsin wants time to talk. In case you missed the story, Ron Dane not playing in this game, sore ankle, the one he injured against Iowa last week, has not played it down and probably won't.
And that's a big loss for Alvarez. In a game like this, it wouldn't be unusual for Dane to carry it 35 or 40 times.
McCullough, however, has filled the breach quite well, thank you. It's 4th down and 4. And they're going from the 37-yard line of Michigan. Samuel back. No pressure on him. Passes away. It is caught. Down at the 21-yard line by 20-yard line by Donald Hayes.
It's a good throw and catch by Mike and Hayes. It's from the short side of the field, and that's a big first down. No pressure. Hayes just goes down. Hayes has caught 94 passes in his career coming into this ball game. He and Simmons have both caught 94 coming in. They are a pair of two of the finest receivers on any one team in the nation.
First down for Wisconsin at the Michigan 20. Samuel coming down on an option, turns, caught at the line of scrimmage, fights ahead for 3 and fumbles the football. But I think they might call him down. Mike Samuel has a sore right ankle. See it?
I think you're right, Keith.
He's down. He was down. They'll put the ball at the 17-yard line. No fumble.
He was down. He was down. Good call.
New formation here. They'll split those backs. Well, they're going to go I. We got Martin lined up right in front of McCullough. Give it to the up man, Martin. He slashes to the 15. That's going to be 3rd down at about 5.
See there? Michigan inside the 20-yard line have been very good. There's only been in there 13 times. That speaks to how good their defense has been. There's Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, right behind Lloyd.
Who was the defensive coordinator?
Speaks very highly of Herman.
Option. Samuel's got a first down inside the 10-yard line. That's a gutty run, I'll tell you, because that guy's running around on a very sore right ankle.
Well, he's a tough kid and a gutsy kid, Keith. They didn't run many option plays in the first half, but they've come out here in the second half and may have saved the option for the second half. But this is a key play to pick up that first down. Good job by Mike to keep his feet to pick it up.
So it's 1st and goal at the 4.
In the second half, this year Michigan has only given up 1 touchdown. That was last week against Penn State.
Martin. Right at the line of scrimmage. And will fall forward probably for a yard. But the first man that got his hands on him was James Hall.
Cecil Martin, Keith, doesn't get a lot of attention. He is the blocker usually for Ron Dane. He was selected to the American Football Coaches Good Works team recently, and that's that's like an All-American team. He doesn't make the All-American team, but it's for doing All-American good works in your community, and he has certainly done a lot of good things around the Madison area.
2nd and goal from the 3. That's Hayes in motion. Give it to McCullough. And it's... Nope. Not quite. The linesman came right down the goal line. Wouldn't give it to him.
Cecil Martin, the fullback, did a nice job of clearing the way. Martin, 37, right in front of McCullough. Goes around the end, and McCullough says, I'm following my man, 37. And then McCullough turns it up inside and just gets denied.
Marcus Ray nailed him, and McCullough is down on the field. McCullough is the man shaken up. So he's going to have to come off. It's going to be 3rd down and goal from inside the 1, and Eddie Faulkner will be sent onto the field to work at tailback. So Ron Dane is out with the bad ankle. McCullough, we don't know the extent of his injury, but he jumps up pretty limber and is going to walk off. All right. So he's put him in position on 3rd and goal. You see how close the ball will be. It'll be about 6 inches away. McCullough with 15 carries, 81 yards, plus a reception of 11 yards. So he's been a major persona in this game.
And he'll remember this game, Keith. His last game here at Camp Randall Stadium in front of the home folks. 5th-year senior, captain of the ball club. Stepping in and doing a nice job because of the injury to Dane.
So it is 3rd now and goal, and you're just about 6 inches or so from the goal line. Samuel Sneak. They give it to him. Touchdown. He disappeared in the pile, and when they uncovered him, there he was. Touchdown, Wisconsin.
That's all Barry Alvarez could ask as for his team on the opening drive of the 3rd quarter to come on out and get it within striking distance, 6-7 points.
Davenport for the point. Big point. He's got it. So it's 16-10. Here's the second effort that got the touchdown. Right there. Now he falls in. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. The Nicoderm CQ Stop Smoking Patch. You bring a commitment, CQ brings the rest. By National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by Dean Witter. There are many ways to measure success. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. Crowd on their feet. Vitaly Pazetsky will kick it off for the Wisconsin Badgers. 16-10 now. Michigan by just 6. A bouncer down the field. Finally, it is picked up by Wilson. He turns it up, and Eric Wilson is then rolled out at about the 25-yard line. Might have been better to let that one go on through to one of the backers. Tonight on ABC, Leslie Nielsen is back in a movie special with Priscilla Presley and Anna Nicole Smith. Naked Gun traded 33 1/3. The final insult. That'll be at 8/7 Central, followed by Dylan McDermott in a brand new episode of Practice tonight on ABC.
Key, what that drive has done is got the crowd back in this ball game behind Wisconsin. Big factor last week.
Michigan comes out throwing as Greasy goes down the middle with it. By Streets.
That's a big throw and catch coming right out.
Whoa.
When the crowd is back in the ball game.
He was covered too, Bob. They were all over it.
As a look at Ty Streets, he's having a big game after not doing much recently. Well, that's just, he's double covered, and Brian threw it the only place. Taylor, number 34, didn't see it coming, so he just went up and caught the ball.
Woodson is back in the game, top of the picture. 1st and 10, Michigan. Greasy rolls out. Woodson down the middle of the field, dropped it. Took a lick. Dante King puffed him one, but I think the ball hit Charles' hands first.
Yeah, well, he saw that he was going to get hit. They were all looking for Woodson, and when he started coming across the field, he's going across the field in the free safety in the opposite corner. They're all looking for him.
Meantime, Ty Streets on a fly is open. So, took it away. 2nd down and 10 from the 46. This is Chris Howard. Wisconsin defense now feeding off the crowd and the success of their offense. And they stuff it at the line of scrimmage.
What this defense needs to do, Keith, is stop Michigan on this drive and get the ball back for their offense and shut down Michigan. They have not done it. Michigan has had the ball 5 times in the first half and scored on 3 of them and missed a field goal on the others. So they've been doing pretty well.
Kevin Bryant and Charles Woodson come back 2 and 22. It's 3rd and 8 out of the shotgun. Incomplete. Woodson and Streets were in the same neighborhood. I think Ty Streets was the man they wanted to catch the ball, and he couldn't come up with it. Bob Adamoff covering him. And so the defense holds it.
Both receivers on this side. Streets is the one on the right. Streets is on the left. Woodson's on the right. They're awfully close there, Keith. Short side of the field.
Adamoff came right in front of him. Probably didn't see the ball just as it arrived. And here's the punt now by Vincent. His 2nd of the day. The first one was 29 yards. Whoops. High snap. But he got it out. And a fair catch call by Wisconsin down at the 25-yard line. So Huntley makes a fair catch call, and the Badgers are cooking after a 27-yard punt. Next Saturday at noon Eastern Time, Ohio State will be in Ann Arbor to play Michigan. That will start our day of college football at 12 noon Eastern Time. Then at 3:30, regional action. Wisconsin, Penn State, Oklahoma State, Baylor, Maryland, Georgia Tech, Utah, BYU, and one of the Pac-10 games, depending on what happens out there. Check your local listings for the game in your area. We'll bring you the game on the West Coast that has the greater meaning. 1st down and 10 for Wisconsin now. Their pot's boiling. They trail by just 6 points. They are 8 and 2 on the season, and they're still in the Rose Bowl hunt themselves. That tackle is made by Glenn Steele.
Well, Keith, you see Carl McCullough back in the ball game. I talked to the trainer, and he said that Carl got his bell rung just a little bit when he was down that goal line. Came over to the bench and said his head is clear, and he's okay for the rest of the game.
Michigan defensively, Keith, leads the nation in scoring defense, an average of 8 points per game. They've already given up 10. I'm sure what they're talking about is just going and shutting them down for the rest of the game.
Samuel being chased by Glenn Steele. Gets his pass away, and it's incomplete.
Steele has been all over the place this afternoon, Keith. Doing a great job.
He also ran into a rough little series there with McIntosh when he got lined up against him, and McIntosh handled him for a while.
Yes, he did. Take a look at the last two of the last 3 possessions. Wisconsin has had the ball for 14 plays and then for 11. The only time they had it for 2 was right there at the end of the half. So really the last 2 possessions that they had it, they really controlled the football.
7:37 to play in the third quarter. Third down, 11 for the Badgers. Option down the right side, and Samuel gets around the corner and picks up a first down and then some. He puts it on the Michigan side of the field at the 48-yard line. They're still running the ball, but it's a different guy running it.
Now they're running the option, and they pick it on third downs. They run the option. And Samuel, one of his strengths is running the football. Washington right there, number 16, misses the tackle, the free safety. Big drive here for Wisconsin.
Samuel's run 8 times, 53 yards, and scored a touchdown, and it's first down Badgers on the Michigan 48-yard line.
Stepped on by one of his offensive linemen, Keith.
Ferrario, the left guard, who was stepping up to block, stepped on his foot. Happens a lot.
It happens more than you think. Staley, he'll go to right tackle, and Aaron Gibson will move out to tight end. He is that big 377-pound offensive lineman they'll be automatically being offensive, being unbalanced.
Cecil Martin had to come off the field for Wisconsin. Have to be shaken up. You got Hayes and Simmons down here together at the bottom of the picture. And the ball to the fella. Glenn Steele's on the bottom of that tackle. Renas is there. It'll be 3rd and 12. Just short of midfield. Coming up on 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, 16-10. The undefeated Michigan Wolverines coming in second in the coaches' poll, first in the Associated Press poll. And a fist fight with the Wisconsin Badgers, who are 8-2, ranked 23rd this week. Samuel back, little quick pop, thrown to the right side to the tight end, Eric Grams. And Grams, he is knocked out of bounds, well short of the first down, and the Badgers will have to punt it away.
Samuel did a great job on that drive with the option, keeping it going. Field position. It's a field position game here. They scored on their first drive. Now Stemke's going to come in and try to pin them back.
He's had punts of 40, 44, and 40, and none of them returned. Woodson is waiting. High kick. There won't be a return on this one either. It's going to go out of bounds. That's what they call coffin corner. Just outside the 7-yard line. 36-yard punt. Distance is not the point here. It's where. 16-10, Michigan leading. And Thanksgiving weekend on ABC Sports, the Skins game. All four of these people were members of the U.S. Ryder Cup team. Tom Lehman, Mark O'Meara, Fred Couples, and Tiger Woods in the Skins game, November 29 and 30. All right, the crowd is up. Ball is back on the Michigan 7-yard line. Defense, well, they yield some there to Chris Howard, who got behind Vic John Jansen and Chris Zeman and found some running room out to about the 15-yard line. So that's about a 7-yard pickup.
Michigan needs to get a couple of first downs at least, Keith, and get this ball out from the shadow of their own end zone.
Well, they've got to win pretty much at their back, too.
Right.
So they need to use it as best they can. Otherwise, they'll be punting into it. He got a penalty flag and whistles, actually, as that play started.
Good ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Movement was on the right side of center on the Michigan offensive front. First penalty of the day by the Michigan offense. My goodness. Pretty good performance. 2nd down and 7. Big hit by David Lysick on Chris Howard. Not much there when you're getting nailed that solidly.
Here's a look at winning special teams, Keith. With Michigan and Wisconsin, Wisconsin's had a little bit better field position, but the one missed extra point, punting average is big in favor of Wisconsin.
This is one of the big plays of the ball game right here. It's 3rd down and 5. If they hold them, they're going to get good field position off the punt. Pressure coming. The ball is thrown outside to Chris Howard. Howard breaks it and picks up the first down for the Wolverines out around the 23, 24-yard line. And it was Chris Zeman that gave him the opening.
It always seems to be Chris Howard that pulls the Wolverines out of a hole somewhere, Keith. Little screen pass. Brian's going to slip it out to Howard. Michigan uses a lot of screens, avoids Thompson's tackle right there. Not a very good effort. And then he's off to the races to pick up the first down.
Pretty good numbers. 4 minutes to play roughly in the 3rd quarter. And Chris Howard now becoming the workhorse in the 2nd half, just as he did last week at Penn State. Anthony Thomas into the ball game, and Howard goes out for a breather.
2nd and 7 from the 27.
They've handled Thomas pretty well today. 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. 16-10, Michigan. Thomas is wide to the bottom of the picture. Has a wide out. Stops, throw it to him. Oh my goodness. That defensive back saw that all the way. Dante King, and if the ball isn't high, he might have had a shot at it.
Dante King is the true freshman from Los Angeles, Keith. Number 24, he reads this all the way. He's playing because of the injury to Jason Suttle. Suttle has missed the last 3 ball games, and this young man, the true freshman, has filled in for him very well.
It's another big 3rd down play. 3rd and 7. It's Chris Howard again. Oh my goodness. He caught a bullet by the tail, literally, as the ball went by. He was able somehow to reel it in, and he carries it to the sidelines for a first down.
I think somebody on 3rd down would start covering Howard. Howard's lined up just off the wing right here, and is just going to come and go across the field. Receivers at the top are going to go downfield to clear everything out, and Howard just goes across the field.
It's another first down for Michigan at the 42-yard line. They started back on the 7. This is Chris Floyd. And big old Chris is going to have 6, maybe 7 on the carry. And here's John Saunders.
Keith, and here's the Burger King play of the day. Syracuse about to lose to Pittsburgh. Donovan McNabb, though, rallies them with under 30 seconds remaining. 24 yards to Quentin Spotwood. 32-27. That's your Burger King play of the day. Keith.
Well, Walt Harris has done a good job in Pittsburgh, hasn't he?
Hasn't he, though? He really has. I'm proud of him.
Second down and 2, and this is Thomason. He's got room for the first down. Took a solid hit at the 45 and fell forward to the 44. Jason Doring came in and hit him as hard as he could.
Inside the offensive and defensive line, 52 there, Zeman is pulling. Nice hoe and Doring. The free safety comes up and makes a nice tackle. Myers, the starting free safety, led the team in tackles in the first half with 7.
Reese's pass, way beyond everybody. Woodson was over there. Tom Burke came in and nailed Bryan as he let the ball go, but Woodson had 3 red shirts in his neighborhood.
Well, Woodson got jammed on the thing, Keith. I think Bryan was thinking that he was going to get back out there.
He never had a chance.
Because he got jammed, he didn't get back out.
He gets a pretty good jam, too.
Yeah. Burke has 8 sacks on the year. There's the jam right there. Let him get back out.
Second down and 10. Pressure coming. Fishy having to throw it in a hurry and threw it a little bit behind Chris Howard, and he couldn't pick up on it. They were trying to set a screen. If they'd have been able to effectively get the screen going, it might have gone big.
You're right. The Badgers do not blitz much, Keith. That time they had some pressure coming. And Bryan had to throw it a little bit before he wanted to. If he gets that ball to Howard, he had some room to run.
Oh, it's 3rd and 10. Out of the shotgun to get a little more time. The pass is away. The pass is completed to Thomas. Anthony Thomas is going to be short of the first down. Jason Doring got him, and he's going to be half a yard maybe short of the first down. They'll measure, though, to make sure. Jack Teets, the referee, will bring the chains in. The umpire is Jim Bishofsky. Steve Beckman, the linesman. Don Langlow, the line judge. Bob Colburn, field judge. Side judge is Norm Nelson. Back judge is John Langen.
Well, right now, the Michigan coaches should be are going over what play they want to go for on 4th down if, in fact, they end up going for this game. This gives them a little bit of time to think about what play we're going to run.
Well, it would be a prodigious field goal.
No, it's too long for a field goal.
And it'll be a short half a yard. There it is. Exactly what it is, a half a yard.
What Lloyd is thinking right now is he's had trouble on goal line situations picking up a yard in either end zone.
Well, here comes Chris Howard. Here comes Campbell, the tight end. They're going to go. Got Chris Floyd in front of Chris Howard. It's Howard. He's got the first down. He's inside the 30-yard line and down to the 27 before Doring brings him in.
Doring, yes, if Doring doesn't bring him down, Keith, he's in the end zone.
Yep. So the offensive front does its job right here.
You can almost look and see where Chris Floyd, fullback number 7, lines up on a 4th down like that, Keith, and you know that the ball's going to be going where he's going.
He's going to take somebody out of there.
Yes, right. They're following me up.
Minute 20 to go in the 3rd quarter. First down Wolverines, Wisconsin 27-yard line. This is Chris Floyd going to the left side, and he picks up big yardage on the play. Got 9 yards, and again it's Doring making a tackle.
This drive, Keith, started back inside the 10-yard line. Michigan has 5 drives of over 90 yards this year for touchdowns. Take a look from behind the defense. There's Doring again. He's all over the place.
You folks better get used to him because he's only a freshman. Floyd now 4 carries for 57 yards for Michigan. Wolverines, 2nd down and 1.5. This is Chris Howard caught behind the line of scrimmage, and the man who made the play was Tom Burke. He got him with a shirt tail and wouldn't let go. Stretch his fingers a little bit on the left hand, but that's all right. Go back.
Burke leads this team in tackles for losses with 13 sacks. He just got upfield and made a play.
So go from 2nd down and short to 3rd down and 5 because of Burke's play.
They'll let the quarter run out.
Take the extra time to talk, and after 3. Michigan 16, Wisconsin 10. Back after this and the word from our ABC station.
This is college football on ABC Sports.
The football is resting just inside the 22-yard line of Wisconsin in the possession of the Michigan Wolverines. 3rd down and 5 with Michigan leading 16-10, and this is the first play of the final quarter. Chris Floyd, the deep back. Pressure coming, blitz is on, pass thrown, pass caught by Russell Shaw for a first down. Adam him off, grabbed him and held him, but it's good for the first down near the 10-yard line.
Brian doing a nice job of converting third downs into first downs, Keith. Michigan has been good at it all year. Shaw barely holds on to that ball.
That's right. He just barely did. Shaw's, the wideouts have had a pretty good day.
Yes, they have.
Streets and Shaw both. So it's first down for Michigan near the 10. Chris Floyd to about the 6. Got over there behind John Jensen. And Big John, 6'7", gave him some room.
Sometimes, Keith, when you start a drive backed up and you get some momentum going, and really the more you go, the more positive you got, and you say, boy, let's finish this thing off. So you feel real positive about a drive when you start back inside your 10.
Second down, call it 4, near the 5. Chris Howard. They got it short on the line of scrimmage. Once again, it's number 8, Jason Doring, the first man to make the contact, and there's a loss of a yard.
Yeah, the free safeties, Keith, are making all the tackles. Bobby Myers, as I mentioned, the free safety led him in the first half, and now Doring has taken his place in the second half, and he's making all the plays.
Chris Floyd comes back. Campbell goes out. High Streets and Russell Shaw go to the top of the picture as the wideouts. It's pass. Greasy runs to the right, in trouble, throws, incomplete, almost intercepted. The only man that had a chance to catch it was Donnell Thompson, and he didn't do it.
And Michigan is fortunate that this ball was not intercepted by Thompson.
You got a Wolverine hurt on the play. It looks like Tom Burke.
And the Badger hurt.
I mean, excuse me. Badger hurt. Tom Burke. Boy, he's played a heck of a ball game. So we've got a timeout for Tom here.
Yeah, Brian doesn't see Thompson. All he sees is the receiver Shaw on the back of the end zone.
Jeremy Tooman, who has been quiet today, was in that area as well, but he had no chance to get to the ball. So it's fourth down and an injury timeout. Well, I guess both sides can sort of get a hold of your chair and hang on. It's 24 yards, and it's Jay Feely. Jensen snaps, Greasy holds, Feely kicks. It's good. 24 yards gives the Michigan Wolverines a 9-point lead, 19-10, with 13:08 to play in the game. So we are headed for war. From the picture of the state capitol in Madison, Wisconsin, we come inside Camp Randall Stadium now. 13:08 to play in the ball game. 19-10, Michigan leading, keeping the ball on the ground. It's rolling around. It's finally picked up by Dante King. He turns up at the 15-yard line and runs into traffic there and stops. And once again, let's join John.
Keith, North Carolina trying to bounce back from their loss to Florida State, facing Clemson today. Chris Keldorf in at quarterback. Davenport is out for the year. 58 yards to L.C. Stevens, gets it to 6. For Stevens, 3 catches, 169 yards. That one set up a touchdown. North Carolina leads 17-10. And Skip Hicks has just added another touchdown. UCLA is up 18. Keith.
Bruins are tough. Bruins are tough. First down, Wisconsin at their 16-yard line. This is Carl McCullough. He's across the 20 and out to the 22. He's a man that was out of town, out of sight. And all of a sudden, here he is, because of injury, re-emerging, a fifth-year senior, last home game, and he's been the star.
He's gained 1,000 yards, Keith, in, let's see, in 1995, gained 1,000 yards. Before that, Brett Moss, Terrell Fletcher, and then McCullough. Last year, Ron Dane. 1,000-yard runners in this offense of Barry Alvarez.
18 carries for 89 yards. Second down and 3. Samuel rolls it out. And down he goes. It's James Hall who got around the blocker. And I know that Samuel's playing on a tender ankle.
Yeah, he'd been getting away from these, but 56 is James Hall. And Hall does a nice job of bringing it down.
He's down at the inside the 19-yard line, so a loss of 4, and it'll make it third down and 7.
Big play right here, Keith. The Badgers need to keep possession of the ball. The last possession for Michigan, 19 plays. Wisconsin needs to keep possession.
That's a bunch. 19 plays. Wow. Cecil Martin's back in the ball game, having been shaken up earlier. Samuel pulls it down, starts to take off, and will be punished. Sam Sword got him, along with Joaquin Fazell, but Sam went right up his back and was the one that drove him into the turf.
He wanted to throw the ball
The 23.
to Donald Hayes on a slant pattern. It was covered. He had no other receiver to go to. This is not a sophisticated passing game. He had one receiver. When he was covered, Mike just took off running.
On the punt from Stemke, left footer spins it out of there, gets some carry from the wind up high, and out of bounds goes Charles Woodson at the 38-yard line. It was a 40-yard punt with no return. (19-10) ball game. Michigan will have it at their own 37. Monday night on ABC. Meet the real people who looked death right in the face and made it. An all-new I Survived a Disaster. Check your local listing. On ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, Buffalo at Miami. Hey, Swanee, you're going to Miami.
Oh, yeah, I'll thaw out when I get there, not before.
Todd Collins, the old Michigan quarterback, gets his job back for the Buffalo Bills.
That's at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC, Monday night. So here comes Michigan now, going to try to punch away here. That last possession was, Marcamento said, what, 19 plays? Ooh. That's a clock eater.
I wonder how much time of the clock that was, Keith. That had to be 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh, yeah. 10:29 to play in the ball game, and number 79 is shaken up. That's Jeff Backus, an offensive tackle for the Wolverines. And he's going to need some help with that either ankle or knee, but that's what's hurting him right now. So he's going to have to leave the ball game. Tom Burke, the defensive stalwart for Wisconsin, came off the field a little while ago shaken up. But we don't know if he'll be able to sustain it anymore. Is he out there? I'm looking for him. And Dave Cruikshank is out there right now, replacing him. David is 6'5", junior out of Dana Point, California.
The young man having a big game right there, Keith. 5
catches, over 100 yards. He had not caught a single ball in the last 2 games.
There's another guy having a big game.
Yeah, I think Chris is the clutch man again today. I mean, he was the Big Ten Player of the Week last week. John Jansen has moved over to the left side now. He moves into that protector slot on the left side of the offensive line, and moving over to the tackle position for Michigan will be Chris Zeman, and that'll put Dave Brandt, the freshman, up into the right guard slot. So a lot of shuffling here in order to get an experienced performer over at that left tackle position, because that's where that's the territory where quarterbacks get blown up.
Yeah, you got to have somebody at that left tackle.
So
a brace on his left ankle, and he's just kind of running up and down.
Jeff Backus will leave the ball game. It's 2nd down and 7 coming up. Michigan rushing. Floyd has 67 yards. Howard 58 yards and a touchdown. And he's caught 3 passes and made some big 3rd down clutch catches. Thomas has 40 yards on the ground for Michigan tonight. So it's 2nd down and 7 now. Greasy throws it inside to Woodson. And Woodson can't get away. There were 2 of them there, and they jumped in quickly. And Donnell Thompson, the big old linebacker, was there along with Leonard Taylor. So they handled him.
They did, Keith. Woodson's at the top of the screen. Just a little cross by the 2 receivers. It's like a wide receiver screen, really. Good coverage.
And they're looking at 3rd and 4. Michigan wants to keep the ball and eat the clock. Clock is their dessert right now. Swing it out. Chris Howard, who else? And he's got the 1st down.
Tell you what, I would put somebody on Howard like man to man, like you do in basketball, like a zone and 1, a box and 1, and just take him away. I mean, he's turning 3rd downs into 1st downs. Here's a look. Brian's going to go back, look downfield. This is not an easy throw. Puts it right on the money, and then Howard just outruns Rice.
On the 1st down, they go back to Howard. He slashes over the right side for about 4 yards. And the clock's rolling right along at 9:25 to play in the game. You see it up the upper right-hand corner. Undefeated Michigan. Next week gets Ohio State in Ann Arbor. 8-2 Wisconsin. Gets to go to State College, Pennsylvania.
They came back with a nice win over Purdue, didn't they, Penn State?
Yes, they did. 2nd down and 6. Howard bouncing outside. Got loose. Oh, he almost really got loose. That's a 1st down and a big one. They were going to mark him down at the 28-yard line.
Adamov, number 29, just the nick of time. If Chris Howard had an extra smidgen of speed, Keith, he'd be running for the Heisman Trophy because he's got all the other intangibles. He's got hands, he's got quickness, he's got toughness. Just not enough speed to run away from the secondary.
Michigan is trying for the door slammer right here. This is Anthony Thomas, who's going to be a force himself in years to come at Michigan. He's just a true freshman. At the conclusion of the game, we'll pick the Chevrolet Most Valuable Players. To date, Chevrolet awarding over $6.5 million to the scholarship funds of our colleges and universities.
2nd and 4.
Ball is down around the 29-yard line. 2nd down and about 4. Jeremy Tooman goes out of the game. Aaron Shea replaces him. Thomas. Well, if he'd have stayed inside, he had a little something, but he chose to go outside, and there was nothing there.
Yeah, he left his friends, and there's Doring, number 8.
My goodness, how many tackles does he have? Most of them have come here in the 2nd half.
He must have 7, 8, or 9 tackles here in the 2nd half alone.
And he's a freshman from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Put the ball on the 24-yard line, make it 3rd down and 4. Pass thrown to Aaron Shea, the tight end, and he's close.
Shea thinks he's got it, and so do the officials.
Yep, he's got it. At least he's got it by a yard. So it's a good catch and a good reach by Aaron Shea to get the 1st down.
And a nice play by Brian, just getting somebody downfield. 4 guys went downfield, 4 enough to get the 1st down, and he found the guy that was open and kept the drive going.
1st down on the Wisconsin 18-yard line. Gonna hang you up for another supper with numbers like that. Here's Howard. Oh, that's a pretty good piece of running there, boy, Chris Howard, I'll tell you.
Good vision, Keith. He saw who was going to come tackle him, and he saw how, and he just pulled his legs away from him.
He's down inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal.
We'll look from behind the offense. Cross block at Zeman, 52. Now he sees that's Doring again, trying to make the tackle, a shoestring tackle. He just jumps out of it.
1st and goal at the 4, and the linesman comes in waving his arms to stop things. I don't know why, but he did. UCLA laying it on Washington. See that?
Yes.
Ooh. It's Chris Howard. Second effort. Touchdown.
Well, this is just tough inside running, and that Michigan offensive line. We talked about the young Wisconsin offensive line. Michigan's offensive line, very young also, Keith.
That could be your door slammer. Extra point makes it 26-10 with 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go. AP has him number 1. The coaches poll has him number 2. Jay Feely. It's good. So, a 3rd largest crowd in Camp Randall Stadium history, 79,806. Grows quiet. Michigan 26, Wisconsin 10.
They almost dropped that ball.
.26-10 ball game now with 6:15 to play, and the Michigan Wolverines have been quite remarkable in the last 2 possessions. A total of 34 snaps in 2 possessions, and they've scored 13. This is taken by one of the up men, Brendan Cantrell, and he rumbles back up to about the 38-yard line, and they're trying to bounce that thing downfield and keep it out of the wind, and it hasn't been working very well.
Both teams have squibbed it, Keith.
Yep.
So look to Coach's fact.
The Home Depot coach's fact, Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, and you can see what his troops have done. In the NCAA overall, they rank 1st in total defense in points per game, followed by Florida State and Nebraska. Now, those are the top 3 teams in your national polls, and Jim's guys lead the pack.
Yeah, and he says he's got a good group of kids. They like each other, and a lot of character, a lot of chemistry.
Samuel's ball thrown hard to Carl McCullough, and it was thrown so hard McCullough just simply couldn't ring it in. Remarkable, actually. Samuel was able to get it away because there were three great big old guys trying to kill him.
Yeah, this is a dangerous time for Wisconsin because their forte is not throwing the ball. And Michigan is very good against the pass. They've picked off 20 passes and only allowed one touchdown pass against them all season. And there's the guy that leads them with 6. In fact, he leads the conference with 6 interceptions.
Second down and 10. Samuel blow it out. Lynn Steele's after him. The ball is thrown. Nice pass and a nice catch by Donald Hayes. So Hayes will give Wisconsin a first down at the Michigan 47.
Good play by Mike getting outside the pocket. Two things, it gives you more time to throw the ball, and secondly, you just have to find somebody. You don't have to really read anything. You just look for somebody that's open and drill them.
Remember, this is a team that was destroyed in that kickoff classic back in August by Syracuse, 34-0. They came home, had 2 weeks off, went back to work and made 6 personnel changes off that opening game. Pretty good coaching job, I'd say. This is McCullough finding his way through the traffic and getting down to the 41-yard line.
Number 30, Weather. Number 29.
It's good to see McCullough, Keith, as we've been talking about on his last game here as a fifth-year senior, playing so well and getting an opportunity to play.
19 carries, 95 yards.
Well, what the Badgers are trying to do, they're down by 16 points. They want to get a touchdown and go for 2, get it down to 8, and then maybe get an onside kick.
On the option. That'll be a first down at the Michigan 34-yard line.
Number 29, Ray.
When you don't see the option, I don't think they practiced against it.
What Michigan has not done against the option is tackled the quarterback. Nobody is going to the quarterback. They're all going to the pitch man, and you got to force him to throw it first. I mean, Mike's been hurting him all day on keeping the ball and turning it up.
Pass for Hayes is too long. Well covered by Andre Weathers. And the clock stops at 4 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the game. It'll be second down and 10. They obviously had a sellout here today with their third largest crowd in history. The last 26 games have been sold out. 26 of the last 27 games.
I think that just speaks a little bit about Alvarez and what he's turned his program around.
I guarantee you. Option again. Again, nobody tackling the quarterback. And he runs it and knocked out of bounds at about the 26-yard line. Sam Sword made the tackle.
Brad Childress, the offensive coordinator, just staying with something that's working. That's the 13th carry for Samuel, and he's got about 65 yards rushing today.
Direction of the ball is marked at the 26.
Well, Keith and Bob, you know, last week Penn State scored on this defense in the fourth quarter. Marcus Ray was very verbal about being upset about having given up that touchdown, and they're in jeopardy of giving up another, Keith.
Well, that's because they haven't handled the option. Lynn Steele can't get him down. He got his hands on him and then lost his footing, but he took enough away from his energy and his momentum that he could not hook up and complete the pass. Lynn Steele, he run about 5 miles today.
This guy is 6'5" and 290. Look at the quickness and agility in getting out there to put the pressure on Samuel.
Goodness, that guy's half rabbit. Can't catch him.
He probably couldn't whistle right now if you went out there and asked him to whistle or two.
He couldn't. 4th down and 2. Giving him a McCullough. He's got it. And he's right at 100 yards. I think he just went over 100 yards. Deonnie Jones came thundering in.
You know, it's impressive. Watch the way McCullough beats the tackle of 55 to Honey Jones. Right there, he runs through 2 tackles. Just got a great knack. Look at that. Takes on the block. Well, he already broken two tacklers, but I mean, he's been doing that all afternoon, breaking tackles.
He's now got 103 yards on 20 carries. This is Hayes in motion. He's 6'5". Go the other way with it, short, down to about the 15-yard line to Graham's the tight end. He probably looked and saw that Hayes had been picked up by Woodson and decided, ain't going there.
Well, you know what everybody's thinking is what I mentioned a little earlier. Wisconsin just wants to get down and give themselves a chance in this game. If they score and go for 2, they're only down by 8. Get an onside kick, do the same thing, tie it up. And that's the long-term plan right there. Michigan has other plans for it defensively.
3.5 minutes to play. Pick up the pressure. This time they can't get away. It's Deonnie Jones, and he's got a little more foot speed than Glenn Steele. And down he goes back outside the 20 to the 22-yard line.
There's another man right there that's going to sleep good tonight, right there, Mike. Samuel, he's been all over this place.
Going to soak that foot in a bucket of salt water, I hope, before he goes to bed. Timeout called by Wisconsin. That's going to leave them with 1 timeout at 2 minutes and 57 seconds to play in the game. Took me a minute to figure out what that was. I thought somebody was coming to visit out yonder. Ball is just inside the 22-yard line, and 3rd down, 13 for the Wisconsin Badgers. They trail by 16 points. There's 2 minutes and 55 seconds to play. Samuel's pass is incomplete, almost intercepted by Woodson.
You know, we've done several Michigan games along the year, and if you don't throw this ball right on time, it is dangerous throwing in Woodson's direction. He is so quick to cut underneath. There's Steele.
You better be in rhythm.
Yeah. There's Woodson, number 2. He sees the route, and he beats Simmons into the inside of the reception area. He knows the quarterback how much time he's got, so he breaks when he knows the quarterback should be throwing the ball.
It's 4th and 13. This is the ball game. Hopes right here for Wisconsin. It's caught for a touchdown. Charles Woodson fell down. He bumped into Donald Hayes and fell down, and Hayes was all alone, and Samuel hit him, and he scored.
The key here, Keith, is he had all day to throw the football. I mean, Woodson fell down. Yes, it's right. Good completion. But he had Michigan had a blitz on. He had all kinds of time to throw. This is a key extra point here for 2 points.
So they will go for 2. It's Simmons coming down this side and making the catch after Woodson fell down for the touchdown. And here's the pass for the 2 points, and it is incomplete. This time he was going toward Hayes, the bigger man, and he couldn't get to it. Here's the touchdown. Now you'll see Woodson fall, and that'll leave Simmons upright and alone for the 6.
Michigan has a blitz. They got 6 guys coming, which means single coverage everywhere on the outside. Good pickup. Mike sits in the pocket, reads it very nicely, and says, "Thank you very much."
One of the remarkable things about this ball game and the Wisconsin Badgers at this juncture, they have had 0 penalties today. Not one single penalty and only 1 turnover. And that was that throwaway thing at the end of the first half. Don't see many football games played. I mean, this kind of a rock 'em, sock 'em, knock 'em down kind of
physical game
without some penalties in it.
A touchdown reception for Simmons, by the way, was his 23rd of his career.
So it comes at 2:45 to play in the game, pulls the Badgers within 10. So now Michigan puts all the good hands people up on the receiving line, anticipating onside kick from Wisconsin.
So the guys on the right side, Michigan has 10 people up there expecting the onside kick. In college football, you must have 4 guys on both sides of the ball when you're kicking it off.
It's got to go 10 yards. And it didn't. He didn't get it going downfield enough. So he kicked it from the 35, and he went out of bounds at about the 42 or 3. He's got to travel 10, and he didn't do it. So that kind of went off in their foot at 2:42 to play in the ball game, and that just might do it. Michigan will have possession of the ball.
There you go, Keith. You like this one? The last 2 drives by Michigan. 19 plays, 85 yards, 7 minutes and 23 seconds. And then the next one, 10 plays, 4 minutes and 28 seconds, got a touchdown.
Michigan gets the football at the Wisconsin 41-yard line. There's 2:42 to play in the game. And they'll just run it and run it. Wisconsin's got 1 timeout remaining. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Michigan after a 3-yard pickup.
Win here today, and Michigan has at least a share of the Big Ten title.
I'll bet you when those Michigan coaches got up this morning and looked out the window and saw all that snow, they said, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, it snows in Michigan too.
I understand.
I think they practice in it.
It's a hostile place.
Well, you're exactly.
Tough place to play.
It is a tough place. It's a snake pit. Iowa asked the Hawkeyes last week.
Wisconsin's a pretty good football team now. 2nd down and 7.5 or 8. Doing as Lysek comes up and makes 1 more tackle for the Wisconsin Badgers. Now the Badgers will have to spend their last time out, I think, pretty quickly.
You know, Keith, following a legend sometimes like a Bo Schembechler is never easy, especially when you're 8-4 your first 2 seasons. And I think there's a turning point in every coach's career. And I think for Lloyd Carr, it was last week's win at Penn State. That win may have laid the foundation for future successes for Lloyd and his staff. It was they were 8-0 going into the game. It was a big game on the road, and they could not have played better. And I think that may be the turning point when Lloyd goes down the road to look back at that win.
It'll be 3rd and 9 with 1 minute and 47 seconds to play. They don't want to give the ball up.
As we look at Michigan's, look at the right side of that column, all the scores, the defense. Only 2 teams broke into double figures before Wisconsin here. Wisconsin's got 16, but strong defense.
A question, do they risk a pass on 3rd and 9?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
You'd rather punt it?
Yeah, I think you punt it.
Make them go the long way.
If I had any inside information, if I knew anybody on the team, he might be able to tell me what was going on. Lysick, 57, not trying to tackle him, just pulling at the ball.
Well, Keith, Bob, you know Michigan really wants to win this Big Ten championship for all the obvious reasons, but number 77, John Jansen, wants to win it for something a little bit more. You see, he's engaged to be married. His fiance's name is Martha Wise. Martha was on Michigan's swim team in 1993 to 1995, and she's got a couple of Big Ten championship rings. I guess when they're having a little argument or disagreement, she kind of flashes her hardware, and Big John can't say a whole lot. So John wants a Big Ten championship ring, so he and his wife, or future wife, when they sit down and have an argument, he at least can be even in the ring department. Keith?
He'll never be even. You know that? Now it's Michigan accepting the 5-yard mark off on 4th, and they'll punt it.
We talked about the special teams. What Wisconsin needs is a block punt. I mean, you're talking about trying to win the ball game. That ball almost went over. Yeah, that ball almost went over his head.
And they're going to kill it down around the 5-yard line. He had touched it down before he kicked it into the end zone. That kind of excited the crowd, but he had touched the ball down at about the 5 or so.
It comes out, Keith.
But he did kick it into the end zone?
Yep. Yep.
I thought he had touched it
it's
down.
illegal touching, but if you kick it in the end zone, that's where it goes.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game from Michigan. Chris Howard ran for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on 26 carries. Caught 4 passes. Clutch, every one of them. Clutch passes for 38 yards. Carl McCullough ran for 103 yards and had 1 reception. And so they are the Chevrolet most valuable players. Chevy donating $1,000 to each of the schools' general scholarship funds. The Chevy tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Samuel throws out to McCullough. The ball bounces at his feet. And it's an incomplete forward pass. And we're now at 41 seconds to play in the football game. And so the Michigan Wolverines leave Madison, Wisconsin tonight and go home with a record of 10-0. And face the Ohio State Buckeyes next Saturday, a game that we will have for you at noon Eastern time. The Wisconsin Badgers will pack a bag next week and finish their season over at State College, Pennsylvania against the Nittany Lions. It's a tough finish. Iowa, Michigan, and Penn State. Samuel again throws to the sideline for the same thing. I mean, the ball exactly the same place.
This is not the strength of their game, being behind and have to throw a football. Here's a look at what's coming up next week. Number 4, Ohio State. Ohio State has the best offense in the Big Ten, going against Michigan, who has the best defense in the Big Ten.
.35 ticks on the clock, 26-16.
Michigan got a couple of guys nicked here today, Keith.
Sam had a good day, though.
Yep, he sure did.
As that sideline, he can't throw the ball to the sideline.
Well, he's expecting him to run into the ball. He's leading him upfield, and the receiver says, I'm not doing that.
So that one gets the crowd up, and everybody's going home now at 31 seconds to play in the game. Wisconsin was dropped to 8-3 on the season, but even so, that's a good season coming from where they were.
Yes.
They lost, what, 7 fifth-year seniors?
The offensive line.
The offensive line last year.
Their schedule has not been real strong, but at the same time,
They took a licking to start.
The schedule at the end is very tough.
And he's sacked. So James Hall gets the tackle, and the clock shows 25 seconds, so you need one snap of the ball by the Michigan Wolverines to put this one into the history books.
Michigan offensively, Keith, they didn't turn the ball over again today for the second week in a row. In fact, they lead the Big Ten in fewest giveaways and in fewest sacks.
79,806 came to watch it. These two fellows have last two games have done pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, they're the heart and soul of the offense.
But they will be looking down the barrel next Saturday, because the Ohio State Buckeyes have been playing as well as anybody in the country over the last few weeks, ever since the Penn State loss. Well, that snap will get the clock rolling. Wisconsin can't stop it. It'll run out. It was a tough, hard-nosed, old-fashioned Big Ten football game, and it goes to Michigan by a score of 26-16. And for Lloyd Carr, the season continues to be a magic one for him and his coaching staff and their players. So it's done in Madison. We hope you enjoyed it. Now let's join
Final score, Michigan 26, Wisconsin 16.
26-16, Michigan gets the win. Right now, bonus coverage. North Carolina with a touchdown lead. Just over a minute left, but Clemson is driving. Brent Musburger.
Welcome, everybody, to Death Valley. Clemson, with 1:13 to go, to stage a miracle. A short time ago, Carolina was kicking a field goal to go up by 10. They blocked it. Then Clemson blocked a punt.
Your thoughts? You've beaten Wisconsin. You've locked up at least a tie for the Big Ten championship.
Well, I'm very proud of this team, Lynn. This is a very, very tough place to play. Wisconsin was ready to play. It was a very physical game. And, yeah, it's great to win a championship, at least to have part of it. But we got the biggest game in our schedule coming up.
Now, looking forward, I know you've been focusing on this game. Looking forward to Ohio State. What's the biggest concern?
Well, we've got to get healthy, and they've got a great team coming into Ann Arbor. I think what we have to do is continue to do the things that we've done all year long. Let's take it one game at a time, and I know we'll take this one because it's the last one.
Now, what have the guys been talking about? I know they've been talking about winning this ball game because it locks up the championship, but this is another football team that seems to be satisfied with a tie.
Well, I don't think we are. You know, at least to be at this point and to be where we are, our destiny's in our own hands, and that's all you can ask.
Coach, thank you.
And we did all right for having a kid from Miami come up here and play in 0-degree weather.